space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Adequate. Our ongoing mission to review every episode and movie of Star Trek in existence, to seek out new guests and make them very uncomfortable, to boldly go where many other Star Trek-based YouTube shows have gone before. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Treks and Trekkers worldwide, and welcome to a live episode of Trekkin Up North. I am one of your hosts. I am one of your hosts, Captain Goodwill. I am 3/3 goo, and I'm wearing a jacket during a summer heat wave. I fear no man. And joining me, as ever, is the delectable Geesian from the planet Honk. It's Science Officer Synoiz, looking deliciously delectable and definitely not sweaty. And we are joined by a...
I'm a wet egg. I am a moist egg right now. I'm a boiled egg at the minute. That's literally the situation we've had. Oh, my yolk has hardened, Goodwill.
Oh, you are yoking.
That makes you toothsome, does it not?
No.
You can get your teeth round me any day, my dear.
I like it when he's hard-boiled. And joining us this week is the gorgeous, the wonderful, the hilarious, the absolute
Sort your seat out. What's happening here with your seat? What? I can't talk about him without moving around.
I'm moving the
It's like they're going through a meteor shower.
I inspire action and movement, you know. Yeah. It's always
I'm
on the
moving because the sweat has begun. But joining us this week on our review is the delightful Duncan K Fraser from Letter Decks. He is here. He is the man, the myth, the legend. And as you can see, he's looking absolutely resplendent in a Y-neck. Doesn't he look? Ooh, look at the straps. Look at the straps.
Yes,
oh, he's got his straps on. He's holding the pants. For me.
I like them.
Your wife's straps. I think it's a good look. We were saying before we started that you look a bit Uncharted. A bit. Who was it? Nathan Drake.
Nathan Drake. Yes.
Yeah.
That's for the gamers. That's for the gamers in the audience. How the devil are you, Duncan?
I am just ducky, thank you. I try to stay that way. It's actually cool and rainy up here, so I'm sending you the vibes of cool and rainy to London.
You lucky duck.
You lucky.
We had that thing this morning because if you don't know, we are having a horrible heat wave in the UK at the minute, and we're longing for death basically. But yes. Fingers crossed, next Prime Minister, pushing the boat out a bit further. But
don't mention boats.
Oh no! Oh no! I didn't mean that. I didn't push the boat back.
He's stopping the boats with him in them.
It's the idea. Oh no, it's gone all wrong.
If you're going to choose a boat, mate.
Yeah, but yeah, it's awful in the UK at the minute. And then this morning, because it had gotten so hot, we actually had a thunderstorm, and it was proper one of those rolling thunder and like chain lightning and stuff. So we got all these wonderful videos of it, and we got really excited. And then it rained for like 5 minutes, and then just got back to unbearable sun, and we were like, never mind. Even the gods have forsaken us now.
I actually passed out in my place of work. Like I legitimately, I got lightheaded. Everything went like you could hear running water in your ears, and then I just passed out in my seat.
Stroke? So could you smell burned toast?
I was the burnt toast.
Did they find you? Were you rescued?
Apparently, I was just doing my work, and I just went like that. And the next day they were like, we know why you passed out. I was like, yeah, the heat wave. They went, no, the heating has been on all week. No one had checked. What? No one had checked the thermostat. What? So not only was it 30 degrees outside, the heating was on in the building. And I'm like, that is why I have lost half my body weight in liquid in the last week.
And you just thought they were cheap on air conditioning, I suppose.
I just thought I was
like,
ginger.
This is my lot in life.
I thought the ginger gene had caught up with me, and I thought, this is how I'm going to die. And they were like, nope, the heating was on.
I just like the idea that someone was just like, yeah, you know what I think will help. you know what'll help. It's like two negatives where they repel. So if it's really hot and you make it hotter, then it's going to get colder, right?
It's that science. British thing.
It's
that
British stroke. Sure.
Yeah. It's that British thing of, I'm hot, have a cup of tea. That's exactly what it is. But no, so I have forgot what I was going to say. Hello to everybody in the chat. The magnificent Shed from Nice France. David, the delectable little staffless security officer. Oh, my. Yeah. Welcome to the
travel chief. In the chat, indeed.
Yes, welcome to Peace, Love, and Star Trek: The Transporter Room. Charlotte, Beth, hello to everybody. Have I missed everybody? Hello to everybody who is in the chat and watching this back on the recording. We are here to review one of my most favourite episodes of Star Trek Enterprise and my most favourite episode of Season 3. I really have to say. The Emmy Award-winning Similitude from Season 3 of Star Trek Enterprise. And yes, I will get the question out. I will get the elephant in the room out straight away. I did bawl my eyes out earlier on at this episode. Again, every single time I watch this episode, I get deeply, deeply upset because
warranted. The performances are amazing. The writing's amazing. Oh my god! I mean, it was a Manny Koto episode, right?
It was his first one. Yeah.
They gave Connor and Jolene just like room to shine, and they cast really well for the younger versions. The younger Sims. Just top marks.
It's such a beautiful episode that I feel only would have worked within this story arc. I think that if this was Season 2 or Season 4 or even Season 1, this wouldn't have had the same effect as it did with this, being in the middle of the season during the Xindi arc. It's so good, but it does raise so many interesting moral questions and dilemmas in regards to human rights, the rights of a clone, and basically what you will do, the desperation of Jonathan Archer to get this mission through. And I think this was one of the episodes where we see Archer truly desperate, truly, this is a changed man, I would say, from Season 1 and 2 of Enterprise. And you can see it all the way through Season 3, but in this episode specifically, I don't know if they did the makeup differently or anything. He just looks permanently exhausted. He looks worn out, and he's literally got the weight of the world on his shoulders. And Bakula's performance in this is absolutely astounding.
Stunning. And I didn't mean to leave him out either. He just gets to shine a lot. So, celebrating the not Bakulas that were focused on here, but he did. And I noticed it was definitely makeup and hair. I noticed they had a little scruff on there a couple of times, like he wasn't sleeping, like you really got the idea that he was physically and mentally exhausted in this one for sure.
Yeah. So the synopsis for this I'll give the rundown of this episode, because when we checked the synopsis last week, it sort of just spoiled the whole episode. But there is.
I genuinely thought, I don't know if you saw last week, Duncan, but I genuinely got it confused with the O'Brien episode where the twist at the end is that there's a clone, and I was like, hang on, the synopsis just immediately says it, and you're like, is that spoilers? And then obviously rewatched it, and I was like, oh yeah, actually it is pretty clear from the start here that that's what's going on.
Right, no surprises on that.
Well, the official synopsis is: during an engine performance test, Trip Tucker is critically injured and left comatose in sickbay. Flock suggests that Tucker's only hope for survival is the creation of a mimetic symbiote. In other words, a clone. The crew and Trip's clone have to face the unforeseen emotional ramifications of his creation. And I mean, that really does give the farm away, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. I mean, the episode plays on it as a kind of, because the cold open is basically a funeral. It is basically they're giving an officer's funeral with everyone gathered round, and then we see that it's Trip that is lying in the coffin. I don't know what it is. It's made of plastic.
Torpedo tube.
Yeah, torpedo casing, yeah.
I was going to ask you about this actually, Duncan, because there's so many questions I've got about various set pieces and stuff that they have. But with this, you
Please
get
do.
to see it at the end, them putting the lid on the case, and it looks so
Ah,
flimsy. It literally looks like the thinnest plastic ever. And you're just
right.
going, I know that's what sets are like, but I do feel a better job could have been done to make it look heavier than it probably, than it
Oh,
was.
I'm not going to judge anybody's construction of props or performances or anything, but I have to guess that a little bit of that look had to do with them switching from film to digital, and I can't
Hmm.
remember if they were switched over by episode 10 or not, because I know it was during season 3. So, when you're looking at something through a film camera and the review you're doing for your dailies is on a video cassette that was recorded simultaneously,
Yeah.
probably it looked fine, but you
Uh,
upscale that to HD,
well,
so you're gonna see it.
it's that thing where just it looks quite flimsy, the set, but then like we're saying, these people have a couple of days to make an entire set of props for things. So it's like going, fair play, you managed to make a
Sure.
torpedo tube in that. And the fact is actually there's only like 5 torpedo tubes. We see like 5 torpedo tubes. What happens if too many people die at once? Do they just have to find random other things to put them in? Like, do they
I
just go like
suppose.
get a wardrobe or something or a dresser and be like,
They could
we'll
start
fly
putting
you
them
out
in
into space?
the reclamation unit where the poop goes and turn them into whatever their favorite object is, and then that would be more meaningful, right?
That'll be like where people get ashes and make them into gems and stuff, but you could literally
Right.
be anything with a replicator.
Exactly. Exactly.
This is a
Oh,
this is a
this
Ensign
is
touching
John really
incredible.
loved
episode.
that lamp. We should make him into a lamp.
Yeah, that's it. It's just like, this lamp.
This is such a sad
It'd be like the end of
episode.
Return to Oz where everyone just becomes random objects. Yeah, but
Right.
This is such a sad episode, and you guys have just immediately went, well, if too many people die, put them in a coffee can.
just look, I'm a
Morbid sense of humor.
pragmatic member of the crew, okay? Like
Yes, yes.
and I've caused enough deaths to know that we need to plan ahead.
Look, we all know your motto is improvise, adapt, overcome. So
We
This-
just come generally. That's
it's far too hot.
through
It's-
whatever means possible.
It's far too hot. Porthos is judging you for these sentiments.
Hey, but
He's looking for a way out. He's like, what's up there?
dark sense of humor is a sign of intelligence, I heard.
It
So
is. And
I don't know.
Synoiz
I
is-
have to say, let's dial it back away from death just for a second. That opening scene had like every person that was on the Letterdex panel in Vegas except me. Like, and just calling this out at the beginning, everyone on that panel, plus some more that you haven't seen yet, worked on this episode, but not me. And I was trying to find out like what the shoot dates were to figure out what the hell I was doing. I might have been guarding the door probably or something, but yeah, you can spot them if you look, even in that just like opening shot. And we have Jen getting a feature right next to Scott and everything.
Yeah.
Also, canonically, first time they had a funeral where they shot someone out in a torpedo tube.
yes.
Foreshadowing in the timeline, but also referencing Spock, of course, in Star Trek number 2.
There you
at the
go.
end there. Yeah.
Yeah. Only 5 torpedo tubes. So if they run out of torpedo tubes, they can't defend themselves. That's the image that we are referring to there. It's such a good opening though when you think about it, because it obviously lulls you into a false sense of belief that Trip is dead in this episode. But it is
That never happens.
that it never happened. It never
Yeah, I have to go
ever
there.
happened.
Yeah, didn't happen. Never happened. Holodeck.
I did. I mean, before we do get into the meat and two veg of the episode, I did have a couple of theories in regards to the Xindi arc for Star Trek Enterprise. So obviously, the sphere builders and the whole Xindi thing wasn't supposed to happen in Prime Trek timeline, as we see in season 3. Do we believe then that the events of Discovery and Strange New Worlds are a direct result of the temporal course correction resulted from the Xindi attack?
Ooh.
So there's a theory going around, and Doug Drexler likes to say that Discovery and Strange New Worlds are not in the original Prime timeline, that they are a divergent timeline. And I like to say, I would like to think that the timeline diverged when the Xindi attacked Earth and killed 10 million people with that first sphere. And the events of Enterprise Season 3 set a new temporal trajectory. It created another timeline, essentially, where what we are seeing now is the ramifications of that. So Strange New Worlds and Discovery and stuff like that were set in the 23rd century was a direct result of everything that happened. What do you guys think?
Wow. I hadn't thought to dig that far into the timeline, but it's a really good point. And Prime is original series, right?
Prime is the So the original series, So the original, Prime Day. So the original series onwards was the Prime timeline. But when you think because people are going, well, how could Strange New Worlds be a prequel to the original series when all the sets look expensive and the ship looks bigger and blah 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 blah? And it's because the Xindi attacked Earth, it split the timeline, and that's why it looks different because of that temporal split.
I mean, imagine what the future would be like if the Dominion War hadn't happened in DS9, where it's the idea of going, whoa, we wouldn't have the weaponry and stuff that we have, like Voyager onwards and stuff like that. Like, it's this idea, maybe not Voyager, but it's that idea of these events change how we do things, and the main thing stays the same, but then we have the sort of repercussions of it. So I think it's a valid theory. I've never considered it at all. I think the problem I have with the Xindi arc is I'm not a big fan of it, as I've said before. I think it just feels it overstays its welcome. This is the first time that with Trek we get a huge series long kind of thing. We had the Dominion War and stuff, but the Xindi feels really, it doesn't feel like a big story, but it feels stretched to be a big story across the whole season. And so I don't think about it too much, but I'd love to see, with Star Wars, where they've made the prequels good by adding loads of supplementary material. I'd really like to see the Xindi arc sort of saved and made better simply by adding more stuff and tying it in elsewhere into Trek. I think that would be really exciting, because at the moment it's kind of oh, that happened, now let's never speak of them again. And it's kind of ignoring it isn't going to help, I think.
Yeah, because the only time they were referenced after this was in Star Trek Beyond, and that was only in a passing sentence. Where and
I think there's something in Lower Decks. I'm pretty sure there's a Xindi reference.
But Idris Elba's character references the Xindi, fighting them or something like that during the Xindi invasion or something, whatever. But that's all that it's mentioned, and it's this was, and that's what lends credence to my theory that it caused a temporal divergence. It caused a new timeline to split away, with the Kelvin verse. This is the Archerverse, where because of that split, the events that we see in Discovery and Strange New Worlds do occur because because of that, the advancement in technology, because of the sphere builder technology that was probably recovered and yada yada yada, and it makes it.
You just connected Star Trek Beyond, so that means that the Kelvin timeline is actually a divergence of a divergence.
Yeah.
Because if Xindi are established as existing in the Kelvin timeline, then they're now one more layer, which no one's gonna.
I think the scariest thing, though, obviously to reference the totally true facts that are on our upcoming merchandise, it's the fact of as we know now, the true what caused the Xindi War was obviously sort of Molly O'Brien being sent back in time as some kind of temporal agent. In order to inspire them to attack Earth. And we know who sent Molly O'Brien back in time, which is, so it all just comes full circle, doesn't it?
Was that the secret, was that the secret villain that we only saw the silhouette of in the first season and second season of Enterprise? Do you think that was Keiko?
No,
we thought it was a man.
That was a shill, but there was I don't know if you know about this, Duncan, but there was a scene cut out of Enterprise where at the end of the season where it has that silhouette, but then you just see someone step on with a gun and shoot him in the head, and that was Keiko. So yeah,
Oh, I think I did see that, but a long time ago.
that's it. It's good because I might have
It
just
was
made
probably
it up.
Keiko. I read your informational pamphlet and your merchandise, and I think that it's all very, very solid theories. I'm definitely on about the Keiko conspiracy.
Have
I
you
think that needs to be a thing. It was probably Keiko.
have you
Just like dot, dot,
subscribed?
dot.
or whatever.
Have you subscribed to his newsletter yet? It's just the same thing every
Oh.
month. Keiko did it. That's it. That's all he posts
That's a whole
out.
newsletter.
That's just it. Yes, just Keiko did it.
Sometimes an image of Keiko with like a big red X on it.
Yeah.
Oh, she is going to throttle you at STLV, and I'm going to get a picture of it, and it's going to be delicious. It's going to be delicious. But no,
Did I tell you what I told, or did Synoiz share what I suggested you do at the photo op
No.
with her?
Oh,
Yes.
you say.
Okay, I think that you should go in with no preamble and just be like, listen, I'd like you to do a Mr. Burns, like, and we're just going to look frightened. We just think it would be funny. And, she's an actor, probably will go for it. It's all fun and games, something different than the normal, right? And then right after you'd be like, oh, we have a gift for you, by the way. It was Keiko all along. Bye. And then just like take off.
I think it's the sort
Thank
of
you for
thing.
playing.
It's the fact that because I was talking to Sean Ferrick about it and stuff, and I didn't realize how much grief Rosalind, like the poor actress, has had from Keiko. Because there's loads of like toxic fans who are just like, oh, she's such a bitch of a character and stuff. And I'm like, I think it's more nuanced than that. So it's like the idea is it's the thing of we're making a joke about it, but as in we're making a joke of the joke.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that nuance there of us just going, no, she wasn't a bitch. She was the bitch, therefore,
right, just like own it, right?
Yeah,
Right,
and being like, no, we're going to make
for you. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to brainstorm.
Way more important than you think she is.
I just have a feeling if she's going to have a table for the whole 5 days, every day we walk past, it's just going to be something new, and we should record it. Like every day, she's just like, you, and just like starts running after you.
It would make my year, but I dare not to dream.
We could do a live video walking past, like, oh, here's Rosalind Chow. She just goes, eat shit, Synoiz, and then just continues to sign autographs.
We will see how it plays out. It might just
I hope
be
she's
very
a good
cordial.
sport. Yeah, I hope that she is a good enough sport that she'd able to play along with it.
You will need a preamble, though. So nix my original idea because I wasn't aware that she had been a victim of toxic fan
I think
stuff.
so.
Yeah.
I think it's basically this thing where people have sort of complained about the character enough, and whether that's got back to the actress or not, because I don't know if she's bothered. I think when she was in the show, she was, and when people were talking about the show as it comes out and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why she was like, oh well, I don't really want to be in that much kind of thing. But
right.
We will see. Hopefully, we will get the chance to chat to her about it and stuff.
Yeah,
I'd be fascinated.
And she could be like all in on it by you pitching it like, listen, we took this actual bad toxic stuff and leaned into it, and we created this like whole thing around Keiko.
Yeah.
Do you want to be part of the funny now? And like that could actually like revitalize interest in the character, resulting in more views of DS9 and everything else. And like,
well, I think
if you play it, if she leans into it, that could be really.
Well, what
really
I think
funny.
we need to do is an episode about Keiko, where we're basically just talking about, because she is one of the most underused characters in like DS9. Like, there's so much you could do with her, and then it kind of hits this point where she's there to be a wife rather than a character.
Yeah.
And it's like how Jake starts off being a son, but then later they go, oh, but he can do all these other things, and he can be more than that, rather than just being there to make Cisco a dad. And it's that, that dynamic in the writing. Anyway, we're talking about Similitude. We will talk all of this later.
I just before we do move on, it's just like it's just approaching and going, listen, you are revered for being an evil character, so why not be the evil character in Star Trek, the most evil character?
Well, it's also the idea of like I think the great thing about it is who is more evil? Is it like oh my God, I've totally forgotten
Golda
Kess
Cat.
in
Oh,
Warlord,
yeah.
where Kess gets to have a villain turn, or is it Keiko in the episode where she gets possessed by a Par Wraith? And it's wonderful seeing these characters who are kind of like they don't get to do much, they don't get to flex their muscles too much, getting to totally chew all of the scenery. And I love that we've got those similar episodes where you get to be like, look, they can act, they can do all the other stuff, just because they're not like, they've just got a very fixed character usually
They
doesn't
have
mean
range.
yeah, the range that you get to see, because I think Keiko in that episode is probably one of the most evil, like, people in all of Trek. Like,
Yeah.
like it's genuinely terrifying that episode. Anyway, move on.
Getting back to
gotta watch that one.
Similitude, getting back to Similitude, the performances all the way through this episode, not just from Bakula or Trinia or anything like that, just the performances from the actors who play young Trip and teenage Trip are absolutely fantastic. And I know they got back the kid who played Trip as a kid in an earlier episode, and they got him back to play 8-year-old Trip. But it was fantastic. The accent was absolutely spot on. He had such a he had such a wispy voice that it was just so captivating for such a young kid to be so good.
The accent, like it's something about Trip. It's that accent is because Trip is basically like there's no rough edges on him. Like he's
No.
rustic, but he's kind, and that's his main
He's
defining
genuine.
thing. He is
Yeah.
a genuine, kind person, and his accent just leans into that so perfectly. And the kid, I was absolutely enamored by that accent because the kid has a really broad one. Well, obviously, as I guess it makes sense that as a kid he'd have a really broad accent, and then as he gets older and he moves away from there, it fades away and stuff like that, and it becomes what older Trip has. But I don't know, just yeah, the child actors were really good. It was just a shame that we didn't get more of the teenage one. He literally gets one
Yeah.
scene in engineering.
True.
But
True.
what I'll say is, because I didn't really get to do a preamble on my thoughts on the episode earlier, but it's the sort of thing of like this is an excellent episode. I agree with this winning an Emmy. My criticism of it is that it's a much bigger subject that I'm annoyed gets dealt with so quickly in one episode.
Yeah.
Like there's so much stuff. Like there's so much more that you could do with the child characters and the different stages of it, the whole dynamic between him and T'Pol, Archer's situation. I mean, you could even tell bits of the story from like sort of Sim's point of view and stuff, because it isn't. Sim is literally everything we hear is from Archer's point of view or T'Pol's point of view or Phlox's point of view. And I kind of just go, this is definitely something that could have been a season arc, or something like that, where it was a bit longer and then it was someone gradually doing it over a course. I don't know if it would have worked that long, but it just feels,
At least
it
a
annoys
two-parter.
me that this is so
Two-parter, I would
good,
agree.
and
Yeah.
it's a 44-minute.
I wanted to see more of Sim and Phlox because when he is born, quote unquote, and we see, but I mean Billingsley is so good.
That scene where it's
Yeah, he's
literally just
really
got Phlox reaching his arm into a tank, pulling out a bao bun, and just injecting it with something. It's
Right.
just like
It seemed really like more visceral than I would have expected. It's like, wow, he really like the way he played that just made it seem so aggro, like just which was perfect. I love that. Let me make one. I want to make one acting comment about that the young actor's accent. 100% agree. You don't see young actors able to do that. I don't know if that's his natural thing or not, but it's either brilliantly performed or brilliantly cast because when I was looking for details about how much does this organism actually get from that DNA, and sure, memories, but like an accent, that's deep because that's usually something informed by a lot of experiences over time, and Sim not taking on any accent of the ones who were raising him, but instead what Trip had probably as that age, like really deepens that idea of
Well,
just how, how much
Just
that organism does.
just
that's what
reading.
annoys me though. Like that's what annoys me because that's fascinating, but I don't know how we would ever get into this discussion or elaborate on this without doing the same plot again, you know? Like it's
Yeah,
because the idea is like
Sure, sure.
what is Sim? Like Sim is basically growing up with Trip's memories of being a childhood, like these genetically imprinted memories, and he's growing up with them, but then he's having his own experiences. So surely there's a conflict of basically his mind being like, hey, here's your accent. You learned it from your parents and stuff when you were a kid.
Sure.
Conflicting with, like you say, his present surroundings, which would be, I should be saying things like Dr. Phlox. I should be talking like Archer and stuff like that. And that's a fascinating discussion. Like you could bring Hoshi, you could give him more than 2 lines an episode. What a crazy concept.
Crazy concept.
I fucking love Hoshi, and the fact that season 3 does her dirty. She's just like, I'm here because we're
Yeah.
reading.
I have a question for you. Where, say that this was made into a two-parter, where would you end the first episode and then pick up on the second one?
I think the cliffhanger would be where Phlox calls Archer in to sickbay and says there's been a development.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
Okay. Yep.
Sim
I
won't
would-
survive.
I would genuinely have that. I would have it where Phlox realizes that the procedure is going to be fatal, and then have Sim come in, and they're like, do we tell him? And it's like that, you know, it's one of those. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, what are you talking about? And then that's the end, something like that.
I think
And then the
that
cold
makes
open
sense.
of the next episode is Sim sitting there being like, you know, like being like, oh, I have to die. I thought I had a couple more days and stuff, and I've been looking at this thing that says I can live longer and stuff, and maybe we make a bigger deal out of the Ensign plot, like, you know, where it's
Sure.
like maybe it is possible and they try it and it fails, or I don't know.
Right.
I
No,
was-
that's great. I love that. Like, I think that would totally hold up. A two-parter would definitely have done this justice.
I was just reading about the child actor who played young Trip, Adam Taylor Gordon. He was 10 years old at the time of filming, and he was born in Los Angeles. So that was a completely.
I thought you were going to say he was
Brilliant.
born on the set. They just
He was born-
They actually just cloned him. No,
He was
he was
birthed.
born in Paramount. You know.
He was stage 8. Off you go, my child.
Never one of those set babies. You know, just
He was,
crawling out from beneath stuff.
Back to the archives with you.
It's like the
Right.
Phantom of the Opera, but like with the
Totally.
Paramount lot.
One of my
Who
most
says they didn't do it?
yeah.
Anyway.
One of my most fondest memories of the Paramount lot is I never forget this. I went on a couple of years ago. I went on the VIP tour, where you go around and it's only like you and a couple of other people, and you go around and stuff like that. And it was just the most morbid tour because they were like, and this is where someone died. This place is haunted. There was a gas leak here, and everyone got carbon monoxide poisoning. And this is where they shot Star Trek. But moving on, this is the floor where cheers is.
More tragedy.
Yeah, and it's just like, why is this place not condemned? What do you mean it's next to a cemetery? What?
Oh, no.
Bring a
It's
priest.
attached. It's
Oh,
attached
it
to the
is.
cemetery,
Yeah.
my friend.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. I really want to take Synoiz to the Paramount lot just to see what happens. Do you know? Just want to see him summon something from the lot.
What's that sketch like? You probably wouldn't have seen this, Duncan, but there's a sketch on a show called Little Britain where it's literally like it's a tour guide giving like a guide around some like caves and stuff, and it just gets gradually more morbid because this guy's just haunted by this one child that died once, and but he's describing the entire journey to everyone about all the rocks and stuff, and he's like, and if you look closely at that rock, you might see a small screaming face, you know, and it's just like. And it's really, really morbid, but it's done so brilliantly.
That's the
because
Paramount
it's so
tour.
deadpan.
That's
just what you reminded me of.
Do you know what? I'll tell you those tours. It was probably a page, right? Like a younger person in like a little blazer and whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
so those guys are usually aspiring actors, right?
Yeah.
Just like I was when I was security, and just like a lot of people you'll find working in the mailroom, it's about getting in on the lot, right? So that you
Yeah.
have access to stuff. I would not doubt it if that person saw that sketch and decided they were going to tweak their particular brand of tour to go in that direction. I would not be surprised since you got that like strong impression, because there's so many
Oh,
things not
it was
about
It'd
death
be
you could
terrible.
say about the lot. I'll bet you anything they did,
there
because
was there was
the
one.
actors get bored.
There was one where we're on the western side of the lot, and they were like, and he said about something about one of the studios. He was like, and they say that she still haunts it, and people still see her floating. And there's the Hollywood sign just straight up there,
Yep.
and everyone's just like
100%.
the
100%
pivot.
board actor.
Yeah, the breakneck pivot between it, and you're like, okay, what's going on? And then
I
like, you
really
go,
want to do this now. I really want to be one of these people.
Yeah,
You
you just,
really
you know what,
do.
though, before you guys go back again, I haven't been back in 10 years. I went
Yeah.
back for a milestone birthday. I won't say which one. But
20.
I will do some research. I'll call up some people over there and find out who the most fun pages are that do the tours, and that will align you with a really good one. Okay, so yeah, just remember to call your buddy Dunk before you go.
Oh,
think
it
it'd
was
be fun.
it was so funny. But yeah, so he was. I mean, he was born in Los Angeles, so that accent that he put on for a 10-year-old was absolutely fantastic.
Stunning.
And it's
Honestly,
so like it's whispery, and like there's a little bit of an emotion in it. But when they finally break it to him that you essentially you are a clone, of this person, and he's like, but I've got his memories, and it's my sister and my family, but then I've got memories here and stuff. And basically they say,
I miss my parents.
yeah,
right?
oh, that was so heartbreaking, because you could see
Yeah.
Archer when the clone is first born, and Archer he's so cold. He wants nothing to do with it. And then you see, like, over the course of a couple of days, he's then talking to Sim, and he's warming up to Sim, and they're in the hangar bay going over it, and then just that fact that Sim goes, I miss my parents, and Archer knows what he has to do.
I think the key thing for me is just how good the actors are, that they know their characters. They know how their characters would work in this. Even the child knows how their character is, like, because the main defining point of Trip is that he's kind and he's honest. He is such a morally genuine person, and it's wonderful because you have it where even as a kid he's like, oh, I get that. And it's not about like, like we even get a slight thing where when he finally gets revealed, like, where they go to sick bay and Archer pulls the curtain back and the kid's like, oh, Dr. Flock said I wasn't supposed to go in there. You know for a fact that that kid hasn't peaked. That kid
Yeah.
hasn't done what a normal kid would do and go, I'm not allowed to be there. I immediately do it, because Trip wouldn't. Because Trip's so honest and
Right.
genuine. And there's something nice about that, of going, yeah, that kid was told not to do something, he will have abided, even though the curtain is transparent. I mean, Phlox, you bastard, like, like, he's genuinely just like, oh yeah, I've got to hide this, like, your future self comatose over here, let's
Yeah,
just use
right.
the transparent curtain, let's just put a net over it, it's
Right. Just to tease, just enough
yeah,
to test
it-
you, to
so
test your loyalty.
you just have poor young Trip being like, I can't even look in that direction because I'm
Right.
blatantly gonna see it.
We don't. He
Oh
doesn't
my
hear the
God.
life support machine. He doesn't hear anything. What I
right.
loved about
What I did want to say though about Archer's performance though, and the wonderful thing is Archer is a good man. Archer is a
Yeah.
good man, and he is a kind man. And that's why he is permanently angry throughout this whole episode. He is
Yeah.
so angry, he is so frustrated, he is, like we're saying, he's unshaved, he looks tired, he's not sleeping, he's very short with everyone. And it's purely because they know the character of going like, you know what it's like when you're a bad person, you can shrug stuff off. When you're a bad person, you can be like, oh, something horrible happened. Ah, well, that's life, I guess. But when you're a good person, it hurts you. It like, when it's a good person, you get frustrated, you get angry when you have to do stuff. And this is Archer at his thing of going, this is his Kobayashi Maru. There is no way out of this. He either lets his friend die, or he does this very ethically dubious procedure here. And so he's kind of sitting here gritting his teeth, being like, I hate all of this. I hate having to talk to this child because it hurts and it's bad for him.
And he has to carry all of it
Yeah.
because it's the decision he made
Yeah.
to actually instigate the entire thing, right?
And that's it.
But here's
and if
the
he
thing.
wasn't a nice person, if he wasn't a kind person, if he wasn't a good captain, he wouldn't be this broken and angry about it, I don't
But
think.
here's the thing. It's not just the weight of his friend could die. He's got the weight of the crew, the ship, the mission, and the whole of planet Earth. He has to get this mission done, and he needs Trip to do that. And he
Needs of the many.
The
right?
needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. And this is exactly what this episode is. And you can just see it. And I mean, like I said, when you look at the funeral scene at the beginning and the end, where the bags are under his eyes, the hair is disheveled, the 5 o'clock shadow is there, the button is undone. Like, compared to the well-rested, combed, buttoned-up Archer of the past, this is a man with the weight of the world on his shoulders, with a mission to achieve, and he's having to make these morally grey decisions that we've not seen him do quite a lot in the past. And this is, I mean, for all we're not really fans of season 3, myself and Synoiz, it did fundamentally change Jonathan Archer as a character.
It helped Archer.
Yeah, it helped
Archer's
him.
development.
It did.
helped him.
But you know what? It took him so far that it made him genuinely scary, because I will not forget that moment where he's talking to the fully developed Sim, and he says basically, I'll take you out if I have to. And he's like, but you're not a murderer. And he's like, don't make me into one.
Yeah.
Dead serious.
He says
right?
the line,
like,
even if it means killing you, it is
right.
And that's the thing. He's not happy about it. He's so upset that he's having to do this, but he's in this situation of going, we have to fucking get things done.
But he's
I'm not
determined
happy about it.
Like,
but...
he's determined. He's made his decision.
It's just so powerful, though. And we were going on about how this episode is Emmy Award winning. The music is what won the Emmy for this episode. It is what always gets me is, and I know it's exactly the exact same spot every time I watch it. It's when fully developed Sim is in Trip's quarters with Porthos and that flute starts playing. That is when I start to get really upset. And the way
actually, isn't it Porthos whistling?
It
yeah. he's got a set of panpipes.
Can sound like a flute.
Yeah.
Why must you ruin my tender moment?
1/16 flute dog on his mother's side.
Flute dog. Hashtag flute dog.
Woof. But it's I mean, that whole part of the episode is so beautiful. It's so gut wrenching. It's so upset. And I think what makes it as well is Archer is there, and it's an emotional. Phlox is emotional. Sim is emotional, but Archer still has to remain cold. He still has to remain composed, and you can see. I mean, no matter how hard he tries, you can see it within him. You can see him that this is destroying him inside, and it hurts to see.
So much.
It really hurts to see. And the way that Blalock plays T'Pol in this episode as well, it's just all so heartbreaking. It really is. It's so goddamn heartbreaking.
There's no exception there, though, because she is fucking incredible. Like, it's just this idea of like how, like, same as Tim Ross, where you're just like, okay, so your role is to be the least emotional character, and yet you still manage to put in the most emotional performances, but in the most low-key way. I mean, the bits in this episode where you can see, like, how, like, everyone else, like a lesser actor would be crying, they'd be shouting, they'd be doing all of these emotes and stuff, and yet she manages to sort of convey like really sort of heavy like feelings without showing any of it. Like,
Yeah.
Like it's underneath, like there's the current
Yeah.
of that stuff, but she only
Yeah.
allows so
like
much to show.
she knows that
Yeah.
the character wouldn't be showing it here, they'd be showing it in different ways, and that is spectacular. I mean, the bit where she gets told that where she's making a joke about like, oh well, Trip Tucker, yeah, Tucker's gonna have his work cut out, with this. And Archer basically just goes, yeah, about that. He's in a critical condition. He's probably not going to live. And then she's looking at him, and it's this cold face, but then her chest is heaving. She's basically breathing fast. She's trying to maintain her breathing. She's looking at him, and there's a look in the eye. And yes, there's nothing moving there, but the body language in other ways. And it's so
full of emotion
so
when
good.
not. It's so full of emotion when not being full of emotion, and that's why Blalock and Tim Russ, they can do Vulcans so goddamn well, where they can tell a range of emotions by doing nothing.
Like Nimoy got to break a lot. There were so many reasons in the story where it kept going, oh, we'll have Spock smile for this, or we'll have something happens and he goes a bit crazy kind of thing. There's so many bits like that. But then, T'Pol and Tuvok don't get that much. Like they get like one maybe where they get to break character a bit.
But they are so emotive in their own way, and they don't have to display the emotions to show the emotions. And it's just so
that
wonderful.
Unique challenge of playing a Vulcan, right? Like, you have to have chops to play a Vulcan. You can't just coast, right? Got to be thinking about it.
I want to discuss, obviously, the moral ramifications of cloning. And obviously, in any other circumstance, like I said, like with this episode in general, this episode wouldn't have flown in any other season of Star Trek Enterprise, because the gravity of the situation was not there. But the moral ramifications of cloning, and even at the beginning of the episode where Phlox is trying to find a name for the clone, and the way that T'Pol and Archer look at each other, because it's obviously a huge decision to create life, to take that life away to save another life. And I feel that we and I'm not saying that we should have, but we don't see the effect that it does have on a lot of the crew. We really don't see the effect that it has on a lot of the crew.
Well,
and
that is why I'd suggest doing it like a two-parter, like we're saying, because the fact is it does feel like the sadness at the end. We feel it because we've got to know Sim. But I do think more time for Sim to get to interact and build up relationships with people would have made it going, because half the people in the crew, like we're saying, half the Letter Decks crew are just kind of like going, did you interact with him? Like, were you in it? We didn't see you talk to him at all.
But here's
there was some good facial expressions in that opening shot, right at the end. Like, there was acting going on.
It suggests
that
they did.
But like,
get
you're
to
right. In the middle of
interact,
the episode, people are running around or just like sort of like too peripheral, not really like given a chance to convey to the audience what the rest of the crew might be thinking. Like maybe they tried to isolate him or something. I mean, it's short amount of time, right?
That's
a great thing that it could have done. Like you're saying with him naming the child, the child, and it's like Archer and T'Pol could have been kind of like, I don't think we should be doing that because that's going to make us too close to him. They're trying to see
that's
him
what
as
I was going to say.
Like Fox is like, it's a baby, treated like a baby.
That's what I was going to say. Like, it would have been interesting to see if there was a division within the crew of the Enterprise itself, where people were like morally against even the clone being conceived, even the clone being created. It's an abomination before, it's an abomination before God. It's an abomination of science. It's morally wrong. I would have loved to have seen the divide it would have caused on the ship. But what we see in this episode is like more or less the whole crew likes Sim, and they're suggesting names, and they're interacting and stuff like that. And
Oh, that's
the
right.
only
They did
people,
do that. Yeah.
yeah, and the only people that you do see that are against it, well, not against it, but they supported it because it serves a purpose, is T'Pol and Archer. And we see the coldness that he gets. And it just would have been interesting if this was a two-parter to see, say, fully grown Trip walking round, and then just people, like even people in engineering, you know, where he's like, oh, hi, you know, hi, Daniels, or hi, and they're just like, you're not Trip.
Yeah.
You're not Commander
Yeah.
Tucker. And, you know, just to have that effect, though, because it's just very... But I guess, on the other hand, it shows how progressive society would have become in 200 years, where stuff like this is maybe more acceptable. But again,
Well,
you want to go back
but,
to the
you know,
augments, you want to go back to cloning and stuff like that.
Sure. I think there's one key thing that makes this one different, but like another good point also is brought up by this, which is that it wasn't something that was artificially done. It was an actual function of an organism that was just placed like in contact with human DNA, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a different concept than we're just going to artificially create a living thing. This
Yeah.
is an actual life cycle of an organism that we happen to have access to, which I think it's a nuance, but it does put kind of a different angle on it. But also remember that Phlox said this is something that that they keep a guarded secret, and I just happen to have one. No questions asked how he got it, but you know, he I don't think that scenario would have been a known or common one, but maybe that kind of thing was so far in the past, because the eugenics wars were like 150 years prior to this, you know, and give or take a giant like thermonuclear war and all of that. So maybe it just wasn't, there weren't questions that had come up for people in that culture at that time. Also, it's a really interesting thing,
it's an interesting one.
and yeah, that changes the dynamic. It makes it similar but different from ours, right?
I mean, I think we need to have a full discussion about Phlox and Phlox's role in this episode and his attitude, but like, you know, in a moment. But to go to the question, it's the idea of like, it's difficult because there's so much other stuff you could have done to it, like having him interacting with Sim interacting with the crew more, and the crew rejecting him and stuff like that. But I don't know, because I like how it develops as it is. Like it's not that he at the end he gives in because, you know, he gives in and accepts his fate. And it's not because he's being bullied. It's not because he's being treated wrong, or that he couldn't have had like a life or something like that. He's giving in because it's the right thing to do, because he's going, hey, this is what my purpose was. This is going to help the most amount of people and the people around me. And it's the most Trip thing he could ever do. And I like that, rather than giving him another motive to do it. But I would have spent more time if it was longer. I would, because I don't think you'd get religious things. I don't think people would be arguing about cloning for religious reasons or whatever.
No.
But I definitely think that it should have spent more time with T'Pol going, this is highly illegal. Like even the people, like, because even Phlox kind of goes, hey, so the planet that this is from, the people there have kind of banned it, but we're not on that planet, so it kind of doesn't apply. You know, it's that kind of like, he's going like, hey, I need to do this thing because it's imperative. However, it's very much in a gray area. I think more time should have been spent with T'Pol going, hey, we shouldn't do this because it's illegal and it's wrong and there's so many implications. But then at the end being like, I want Trip. Like I want Trip to survive, and kind of coming round and everyone kind of just going like, yeah, morals be damned, we need him, kind of thing. And it does do that, but in a very sped up way.
Do you
I
think
that could have been included in the theoretical two-part episode?
Yeah.
Right? Like it would, those were definitely great things to explore.
Because Archer just kind of goes like, I've made my decision. Like by the time she comes in and says, hey, you know, like sort of, I've got a problem with this, Archer's like, well, I've made up my mind, so sucks.
Do you think involving the senior staff and getting the opinions of the senior staff, if in this theoretical two-parter, Do you think it would have been? I think it would have been interesting to get their opinions instead of the captain just making the decision, I'm going to do this. Maybe they would have had a meeting. I'm not. I just don't know.
I was gonna make
now
a
you're
joke
talking about a
about
feature
it.
film.
Yeah, God, yeah.
I was going to make a joke about it, but it's the fact of actually it would be quite a good scene. Just the idea of like Archer just sitting down for breakfast and being like, "Well, this is boring as shit," because it's like T'Pol's there being like, "I don't eat," and Trip's not there, and you just like, and Malcolm's like, "So guns." Well, no, you wouldn't invite Malcolm. But it's just the idea of Archer just sitting there being like, "Yeah. No, I can't do this." Because the whole thing is he needs Trip, and it's very much, and that's the thing. That's what would be great in a two-parter, where by basically if the part one ends after they've done the thing where Sim has managed to get them out of the the field that they're trapped in. I'm not.
Yes, it's a field of things.
So he's basically got them out of the dangerous situation. He's got them out of that thing. Then it's just a case of repairing the warp drive so they can survive. The actual need for Trip has gone because Sim has been able to get them out of that scenario. And then it becomes a whole, oh, maybe we don't need Trip. But then it becomes a T'Pol thing where T'Pol's like, actually, I want him because I'm actually in love with him. And Archer being like, no, he is my best friend. I need him here kind of thing. And these are the feelings that start coming up after that of going, we can't even hide behind the excuse of, oh, he's our best engineer. We can't do this without him because they demonstrated that they can.
Yeah.
But it does kind of do that anyway in its shortened form. It's just me wanting more of a good thing.
Totally. And you bring up the whole idea of having to kill your best friend to keep your best friend. Or having to kill your lover to keep your lover. Like it's so wacky. It's so wacky. Like anybody.
Like how conflicted T'Pol is, where she's getting chatted up by teenage Trip, and she's just going like, "No, I don't want to go to the movies with you," and nope, I'm fine for dinner. Thanks. And it's adorable. Like literally, if any of you have ever gotten chatted up by someone who's like in their 20s, and you're just like, "Not gonna happen," but it's flat. Nope, stop it. It's that whole thing of just being
all
like,
the time. Yeah.
It happens to me a lot. And you're just going like, I'm 40 now. This is weird.
No, no, you are not. No, you are a delicious 30. You are
Stone.
Ooh. It's egg years. That's what we're going to say. It's egg years.
Egg years.
Yeah. Geesians don't age. They just get angry.
Well, actually, didn't we work out when we were working on the Trekking Up North wiki that we kind of forgot about? But we like, I think I was going to make it where like Geesians live forever. They just have war so much that they all just die. So like their natural death is being murdered by other Geesians.
Right.
So it's
my gosh,
Geesians are eternal. Geesians are eternal, but they're just sick of everything.
Yeah, they're just incredibly violent.
Right. No, that is a great idea though. That's a concept for a moral dilemma for Star Trek, right? It could be anything, like a species that literally does not die unless they are actively killed. Like that. Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's really close to what was the original series episode where to avoid wars they had simulations, and then whoever was in the last radius of the bombs has to report to the like incinerators or something. It's close to that. It's close to that because do we interfere? Do we give them something that makes their lifespan natural? I just think that's great. Great character idea. It's hilarious.
It's about finding a way to survive within the constraints of your thing. Like this is the whole thing with humanity in this episode. The idea of going, that is part of the human condition. The idea that you have one life, you age, you die, and the implications that come up in this of going genetic memory. Like what? Like
that's a really interesting thing.
See, I think this is the problem. This episode could spawn so many other episodes, and it's the frustration of Enterprise. And we go into it. I'm doing it now rather than you, Goodwill. I'm saving you the effort. But fucking hell, we were robbed by not having more Enterprise. Like all of the stuff you can go into, all of the amazing plots that we kind of miss out on, where you're like, oh, I do hope the Romulan War happens. Fucking it's. And it's all
also, I could have been the O'Brien of Enterprise. Can I just say?
Thank you.
Yes,
I was on a trajectory.
Exactly.
I worked in engineering. I had a speaking part last season. Right?
Ah,
Like, it's right there.
It was
that's
just
it.
it was just getting so good, but Paramount being Paramount. But it just
Oh man.
but the moral quandaries that this raises, and like the discoveries that are made, like with Flock saying, oh, humans are capable of genetic memory, and you can relive the memories of this, and it's like, this is an interesting theory, and it's never heard of ever again. And it's like,
Right, huh?
and even in the debriefing in season 4 or anything like that, they don't go into that. Like Starfleet looking at that going, you created a clone of your engineer and then murdered them
Yeah, from a bow bun, no less.
from a bow bun. You had a
Wasting
bun.
great food
You had a
on
wet.
top of your other
You
I
transcription.
think
had a
Fox just
wet
makes
bun.
shit up. His
Yeah.
menagerie is just random shit, and he's like, "Yeah, fucking it, whatever." It's just,
You had a wet bun
yeah.
that you injected with blood because why the
He's
fuck not?
literally he's gonna have a tank in the background. It's just a plastic dinosaur on a string or something, and he's like, "Oh, it's the magical Tipperary bird of Lysian 4." Or something. And Archer's just like, "You're just making this shit up now."
Fun
What the-
fact, I actually saw, oh god, this is going to sound so weird. I actually saw that storage tank at the very first ever UK Trek convention in 2012.
Really?
And what they do, because obviously it's the Porthos tank, where Porthos gets, the little
Yeah.
little thing taken out. So they just reused the tank.
Yeah.
And then it was at DST in London, and I was like, oh, it's the Similitude tank. There's a dog in it. I was like, oh no, that's where it's actually from. That's the original
Yeah.
use of the tank to store dead dogs. And it, and it's like such a
I
morbid
think Phlox
line.
would have one of them though. Like, if anyone in all of Trek would have a tank specifically for storing dead dogs, it's Phlox.
But I mean, like we were on about with Phlox, his performance in Billingsley's performance all the way through this is just so beautiful. I just really wanted
truly,
to see
truly.
more and more with they could have said, oh well, we're confining him to sick bay. We don't want to upset the crew because obviously
Right.
they've resigned the fact that Trip may not recover and it may unsettle them to see a clone, so we're going to restrain. And they could have, even if this was a two-parter, having some dedicated time in the first episode to see Phlox bonding with this clone and how Archer is getting upset that he is bonding with this clone because at the end of the day, Archer's got a mission and this clone's got a in 2
and
weeks.
I really loved how Phlox was the moral compass for this whole thing. Like
Yeah.
he clearly had morals and ethics in place that came into play here and that he put forward, like being personal with it, finding a name, like
Yeah.
treating them like an actual being that deserved love and attention and empathy, right? And guiding Archer and everyone the same way, right? Like this is like first, oh, we need a name. Oh, at some point we're gonna have to tell him the truth. Just
Yeah.
saying it like it's not a question. That's just how it has to happen, right? Like I just love that they had Phlox really taking it that direction. P.S. Maybe that tank always had that cloney thing, and maybe he sort of did that with Porthos and was just like, oh yeah, I fixed the thing and here you go.
I'll put a button.
I don't remember the plot of that episode, but
I think maybe maybe it's always got a dead dog in it, and he had to take it out to put the child in. He didn't even wash it out. He was just like, they just took the dead, flung it to the side. He's like,
organic
I'll get
fluid,
another
whatever.
one. Okay.
Why is it piss yellow? That's what I want to know.
Food coloring.
The thing is, though, like the thing, obviously, it's really difficult because, like, I think the wonderful thing about Trek is when you can't have a favorite character, because whenever you settle on one, you're like, oh, but then this one, and I'm like that with Phlox because I adore Phlox. Phlox is, like, I don't know if it's really odd because obviously I love Pulaski and I love the Doctor. Like the Doctor is incredible, but it's like there's something about Phlox that's just so because he's so different to the others. He's so sort of like hands-on. He's like sort of like frontier medicine in that kind of
Hmm.
way of he's like, hey, I've learned all this stuff. I have all of these tools around me and I have solutions for everything. He's a genius. He's an absolute genius. But it's
Hmm.
the fact of out of everyone, Phlox is so medical and Phlox is so intelligent that he understands the situation. And that gives him a comfort. That's why he's allowed to be quite jokey. That's why he's got this
Mm.
levity to him that obviously T'Pol and Archer are like, this is a serious thing. Why are you playing with the baby? Like, why are
Yeah.
you sort of making a name for the baby? Like they're taking it really seriously because they've got this morbidity where they have this fear of death. Whereas Phlox comes across as a doctor who's so fully aware that life is fleeting. He's fully aware that
Mm.
this thing is only going to be around for like 15 days. He knows that any person that he talks to on the ship, he could be operating on and fail to save like the next day. That's the reality of him as a doctor. And that's how he is. He's got this life in him that can only come from understanding death and accepting that kind of thing. So the fact that he's like, yeah, this kid's only going to be alive for like 15 days, but I'm going to make sure we enjoy it. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to spend quality time. We're going to make sure that that kid has an upbringing. We're not just going to go, hey, wait till it's old enough and then harvest its stuff and then sort of like, then shoot it in the head or something. And
Mm.
that's wonderful about Phlox. And it's why I love him because he's always this, hey, let's find a reason to joke, even though it's a horrible situation, because I realize how important it is for everyone to joke.
Yeah.
I'm just gushing now, but yeah.
The
Peace,
consummate
peace.
physician, really. You have to
Yeah.
be practical, but you have to be compassionate, and you have to make hard decisions, but then still find a way to enjoy life and help other people enjoy the lives they have. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
complex.
we see from the Doctor in Voyager, like bedside manner, having a bad one really hurts you. Like it means that
Hmm.
his interactions with people are a lot worse, and it takes people a lot longer to deal with him. Like there's nobody in Enterprise that doesn't seem to like Phlox, that doesn't seem to trust
Mm.
Phlox and stuff like that. I mean, I think if it was anyone else, like if like Crusher or someone had suggested this plan in the same scenario probably wouldn't have been accepted.
Yeah.
It's that thing. It's
Interesting.
something about Phlox being like, hey, and it's the fact that he lets the mask slip a little bit at times during the episode where Archer kind of starts attacking him and being like, sort of, God, like, how can you be so jokey about this kind of thing? And what is it the Phlox says? He's like, oh, bollocks.
It's a nice view of the egg, by the way. I want to rub it.
Oh,
It's
sorry, yeah,
beautiful, isn't it? Peace Love, while you look for that, Peace Love and Star Trek
sorry,
has
yeah.
raised a good point about Archer. If Archer makes the decision by himself, then no other person can carry any responsibility / feelings of guilt. I think that's why Archer didn't invite opinions.
Hmm.
That's a very good
Yeah.
point.
Good
He
one.
shares the
Very
burden
good.
of the decision on himself, so no one else has to. And
Yeah. And
yeah,
that's
and
being a captain, right? Like
it
he's
is.
he's owning.
He's owning, but like we say, this is a transformative season for Jonathan Archer's character, where
Hmm.
we do see the event.
Yeah,
And what annoys me, and I know we've just mentioned it, but I really wanted to see him in the Romulan War. I wanted to see this captain who was
Yeah.
optimistic, hopeful, always wanted to go out into the stars and be an explorer, who then has to cut his teeth saving Earth from the Zindi, return to exploration, only to again have to find himself in the midst of another war trying to defend. And then he makes a decision to run for presidency of the Federation.
Well, I think it's the idea of he needs an arc that ends with him rediscovering that initial joy.
Yeah.
After being through
Ooh,
all,
good one.
being through the ringer, that his arc doesn't become getting used to it like Cisco's of going, hey, how do you deal with this? How do you save like the galaxy kind of thing, or Picard's, which is like Picard doesn't really have an arc, but it's the idea of just kind of continuing on and then kind of letting go. I think.
Yeah.
I think Archer's one of rediscovering why he did this and why he wanted to be a captain and what he can do for Starfleet outside of being a captain. I think that's important. I found the line I went, it's simply the one where Flock says, like, I don't make this proposal lightly, Captain, but I'm obligated to furnish you with all available options. Like, it's the idea of he's like, I'm saying this because I've literally ruled out everything, and our options are Trip dies or we do this. So.
Right. Also, we're stuck out here with no hope of any help from anywhere, and we just have to do what we have to do if we want to survive, you know?
It is a bit shitty, though, that, like, Trip's a bit of a bottleneck in the capacity of, are you sure no one else could do it? Like, it's that whole thing of going, like, there's a lot of talented people on the ship, and I know Trip is amazing, but it is that whole thing of going, are they actually fucked if he's gone? Like, that's bad, but I think it's maybe he's the only one who knows the Wi-Fi password or something.
Yeah,
like,
right, exactly.
When the explosion happened, the router got reset, and he's like,
right.
They literally go through the whole episode.
Where the button is.
Yeah. They go through the whole thing, and then at the funeral at the end or whatever, where it cuts to Trip's face, Archer just leans in and says, "So is it a 5 or a 2 at the end?"
Right. Right. And then he's like, ampersand.
Yeah, and then they can finally get back onto Netflix.
But you're still coming to work tomorrow,
no, but
right?
That could have led to him trying to apprentice a number 2 engineer, which could have made for a new character that, is already in engineering and doing a lot of cross-training.
This is it. We get it. I've had it at work where we get all these things, but when you get a situation where you're like, oh, that person's off today, and nobody in your department knows how to do it. There's a learning exercise here, and then and we get into this whole thing of going, so we need to be sharing knowledge, I think, over here.
It's almost like
right?
It's almost like getting rid of the redundancies opens up a whole raft of flaws in your organizational structure. So maybe you don't make people too expendable.
Yeah, well, there's a concept. I wonder why they didn't think of that.
But I mean, it just.
But I think of the cool episodes you could have had of Trip, Tucker, who isn't a teacher. Like, it's that you get someone like Hoshi, who is born to be a teacher. Like, we literally, the first scene we see them in is a teacher. But then you kind of go like, that's great that you're a fucking genius, Trip. But you need to learn how to teach that to other people. You need to learn how to be able to do that. And that could be an arc for him where he doesn't want to be having to train people up. He wants them to kind of know how things work and him just interject with some helpful stuff. But then it becomes a whole, hey, he does that. And then it becomes an arc of him becoming an engineer at the academy or a teacher at the academy. Like when Archer becomes president,
But that's the
and
thing.
That could be his arc,
The whole Xindi arc, it could have been. I mean, there was only 85 of them or 86 of them on the ship, and it's like, hey, if one person goes down, who's going to be able to take their place to maintain that full operational status? Like, if the captain
have to draw straws for a torpedo tube, otherwise they're going out into space in a dresser.
It's just coffee cans. It's just coffee cans, wardrobes, bed sheets.
That Flox's fucking jar for dogs. Your body's in there next to a fetus and next to a dead dog. You're just like, what do I do for this?
Trip's the only one that knows how to use the replicator too. Like, he's the only one that can program it, right? Otherwise, it just makes boots over and over.
Well, he's fixed it to only make key lime pie. And they're like, we've got to clone him and bring him back because we're so fucking sick of this.
It's such a good point though, because you've got Malcolm's got a team where he trains him in the armory. You've got the Makos, which appear once every 20 episodes. You've got but in engineering, we don't really see apprentices until season 4. Like, you don't see where he's like trying to train them and stuff like that. And it could have been like, it could have made the actual Trip realize that, if I don't survive this mission, I need to make sure that my knowledge is parted on to these people so that Earth can be saved. Because if one person goes down, the whole ship could potentially go down with them, and that's a hell of a flaw.
Well, you could even have a subplot in this episode or in a future one where something happens to Trip, where it's literally all of the lower deckers or the letter deckers in engineering, like yourself, Duncan,
Hmm.
basically going, how do we operate without Trip? Like, oh shit, we kind
Yeah.
of just let him do all of the important stuff. And
It
do
would
we
be
know how
like
to do this?
specialists, right? Like it'd have to be
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you handle this, I've got this part, and like
yeah.
kind of piecing it together. I
It
do
could
have
be
to
an
say
episode of
though,
them working it out and them kind of going,
that
hey,
would be
while
really
he's not
cool.
here,
That
how
would be
do we
really cool.
actually do this? Because we need this to happen. And maybe they're realizing that they've kind of just been cruising along a little bit and kind of
Mm.
going, I don't know. You could
I feel
definitely do
like
something
this
about that.
episode presents a scenario that would make management, so to speak, have to start some protocols of redundancy, right? Like,
Yeah.
and they kind of imply that that T'Pol knows all the things. I think that's kind of an undercurrent of her character is that she knows how to do all the technical things because she's
Yeah.
Vulcan and they have all the best stuff, right? Because Archer puts her in charge of supervising the repairs. But still, that's not redundancy.
Hmm.
That's just like doubling up command staff to
What?
do another critical function, and
See,
that's going
she's
to hurt you.
science officer, so I think she'd be able to understand what was going on, but not know how to do it. So I think what we see her in is we see her in
Mm.
like a project manager role where she's able to go, hey, these
Oh,
are the
the more
things that need doing, but I don't know myself how to do it, but you do, so I'm going to send you to do that, you to do that. So it's more of a like a management role that I think we see her in rather than
good
her
point.
actively to be fair, she probably could though. Like it's but
Hmm.
it's not like Data where Data's like, oh yeah, I or the Doctor where you're like, oh, I know all of that. Like I have all
Yeah.
of those in
Right,
my data
like
bank.
literally programmable, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think T'Pol is
yeah.
like, I have been around for a while. I know tons of stuff, but it might be that I know this, but there's probably stuff massive gaps in her knowledge. I'd
Yeah,
hope for a
yeah.
character's
Well,
sake.
organics have limitation at some point. Like some of
Yeah.
us store more than others, but at some point, you can't know
And that's back to the
everything.
hot dogs we were talking about at the beginning. That was
Oh,
Indeed,
no
before we
one knows
started
indeed,
the
about
indeed.
episode,
that.
wasn't
Yes.
And in this case, squishing will not help.
Let's not elaborate on that, actually. Let's just leave
Let's
that
not.
as a
We'll have
mystery
that
for the
as our
show.
own little joke.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to bring up something if it's the right time
Yes.
of lore in this episode that I was just like sort of thinking about and sort of makes me laugh. Um, Imagine you are the species whose name escapes me, where that like mimetic organism is a naturally occurring thing. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and imagine you're not evolved enough yet to have technology or other ways to understand like organic things in a scientific way, and you're in the woods with a hunting party, and someone runs off and gets like falls and hits their head on something, and their blood comes out and hits this bough that's hanging from a tree, right? This dumpling, and but all the other rest of is that like 2 3 days later, a like younger version of your hunting mate walks out of the woods and is like, "What's going on, guys?" Like, how freaky is that? Like, there must have been whole religions built around this thing.
Yeah.
It must have been something that actually shaped their culture, but like, how freaky, right? And I wonder how long
Yeah.
it took them to figure it out.
Well,
Like, so
it,
weird.
I was gonna mention this because I was gonna put this as like a bad point on the episode of it's one
Yeah.
of these gimmicks of going, hey, here's this thing that we're not going to elaborate on because we haven't probably thought it through. But this is like this creature exists. But you're right, like that creature, what the hell? Like that planet
Right.
must be insane. You literally because we don't even know if it's blood. It could just be DNA. You could just touch
It
it,
could
and
be
then in a
right.
day's
Skin
time,
cells.
that's become a
And
clone
how
of you.
and
Like,
how does that fit in with its life cycle? What is its life cycle? Like what
yeah.
part of the life cycle
I
is
love that
the
it's an
hanging goop
additional
ball?
thing. I love that it's an additional thing. It's like, it's kind of going like, well, this one here is just going to kind of hang on a tree for a bit and then
Right.
die. This one
Right.
here is going to transform into a giant dinosaur because one brushed against
Yeah.
it. You're like, how does that evolve? That's an
Exactly.
ability.
Like what how does that fit into the ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
In its natural way. It's a fascinating idea, but it's so freaky too. So freaky. And you'd think it very quickly. And my wife, Lorena, was actually saying that she's like, that's her like a shade off of Alien, really, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all the only difference is that it doesn't implant something in there that its whole purpose is to breed more of itself or its kind and kill the other ones, right? Like if it had just a little bit of that implanted in the organic thing, then your friend walks back out of the woods in 3 days and secretly starts like knifing everybody or dragging them off to the
like
cluster or whatever.
What are they called?
Lycerian. So it's a Lycerian desert larvae.
In terms of like legends, there's like it's called like
mimics.
A changeling or something, where it's basically like it comes along in the night and you swap a baby with a changeling, and then the baby, the changeling
I know what
grows
you
into
mean. I know what you
It's
mean.
got a special name. It's
hang
that's
on.
a good
But either way,
question. Yeah.
but you could have things like, because we have these things in mythology and stuff, like sort of like Eastern vampires and all this kind of stuff, where it's the idea of what happens if this enzyme, like you could have a whole horror story based upon this little aside, this little bow bun in the episode, because you could have it where maybe what happens is that if someone accidentally brushes against it, then the thing changes into one of them, then it has a couple of days where if it drinks the blood or something of the person it's mimicking or a family member of that, then it becomes permanent. Then basically we get it where basically that's the enzyme. The enzyme is, if it does that, then it basically solidifies. It doesn't die after 15 days, and it basically
and essentially
lives
takes the place of that original organism and then reproduces its own thing.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so you can have
That's
whole
so
mythology
creepy.
around that way, that have a horror story about these things, and then it's got 15 days to basically find its clone, get in there, get the enzyme and stuff, and then kill the person that it came from and stuff. You could have a whole
taking the
Trek
enzyme
horror
does
story.
kill it, like that, just by the way that it works. Yeah, man. Wow. Yeah, man. You just invented a whole new horror brand there.
From something that looks like a kebab wrap in a bloody bucket.
This is such a rabbit hole, because you were creating this fantastic horror episode or movie of Star Trek, and I'm going on about changelings, and the only thing that's just caught me is some modern scholars have argued that these stories about changelings, the stories of replaced children, originated in folklore as folklore explanations for autism.
Wow.
Whoa.
So basically, changelings don't exist. It's because people are autistic and they change.
So, are we suggesting, is this a hot take of the episode, that all autistic people, autistic,
are larvae,
have basically are bow buns that have been like developed into people?
So all autistic people. So get the current administration on the line. All autistic people.
I love that this is the conversation that
buns.
isn't going to get us cancelled on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely not.
Like this is the one that I think is problematic, and YouTube's going to be like, well, they're not mentioning a certain country.
Here's the thing, RFK. Here's the thing, RFK. This is what you do. Okay, are you listening? You take a bow bun. You inject it with any DNA that you find.
No, you inject it with your DNA, and we'll just let that one slide however he wants to shape it.
Speaking of let one slide, and then in a few hours,
if he still can,
in a few hours, there's another one of you. It's like it.
Maybe this one sounds healthier.
But like what Duncan said, like it's just. Who discovered this in the desert of the Lycerian homeworld?
Where tribbles. You have an entire village replicated by these things, and he just like, what the fuck going on?
Right.
But the fact that Phlox, the fact that Phlox is like, this is a controversial species that has been outlawed and has, like these cults that look for ways to make the clones live longer and stuff. And he's like, I'm just using it as an antiseptic cream to treat cuts and bruises. And you're like, this is how unhinged Phlox is. I'm going to take the most divisive creature of this planet and use it as hand sanitizer. That's what I'm going to do. It's the
very much feels like
bun.
oh, the reason I've got cannabis plants is because I like the way they look. And you're just like, yes, of course that is. You know, it's like,
But
oh,
how many
I
did
have
he
these
have?
opium things just
How
growing.
many did he
how
have?
did he get them? What was the
Yes.
adventure he went on to obtain these? Did he have a team? I mean, like, is he wanted on that planet
Yeah.
now?
But
is he wanted
also-
in the whole system?
What
What
is-
is going on?
What is Starfleet TSA's rules where it's like, have you got anything to declare, sir? And he's like, yes, these many buttons in these many tanks. What are they for? For boo-boos.
Decoration.
For decoration, yes.
Look, when you
I think-
shine
I
a
think-
colored light behind it, it looks cool.
Yeah. We'll put it in this tank with this dead dog. How
No
does
reason.
the thing immediately not turn into Porthos, though? He just shoves
Yeah.
the bow bun into the tank and he's like, should have washed it, really. Should have thought about that. Maybe I should have worn gloves.
Oh my god, could you imagine a Porthos Tucker hybrid? It'd be like the end of Hot Shots Part 2 with Saddam Hussein and the poodle.
Well,
I
that
met with
brings
the
up a
wrong
whole
dictator.
another thing.
That would have just been on the ground being like, kill me.
Kill
Don't
me.
Don't wait the 15 days.
I am the embodiment of UPN. But
Oh,
the-
kill it with fire.
speaking of misfire, but yeah, it's
I'm
just.
glad we've been able to be so serious about this
I'm
very
glad because
emotional episode.
I was genuinely, because like I said, I bawled my eyes out at the end of this episode. It is such a touching end of an episode. And it goes full circle. It goes full circle. The twist is revealed. Obviously, it's not Trip. It is Sim, and it just every time I have seen it so many times over the last 20 years, 23 years. Oh my god! And it still tugs at the heartstrings. It's a powerful episode. I don't think there has been another Star Trek episode or movie that has affected me as much as this episode. This is how good it is. This is how powerful this is, and it does so much with so little as well. And like I said, the musical score, absolutely Emmy Award winning. That musical score is so good.
And you know that it's good when you feel things
Yeah.
and you're not thinking about the music. Like, it's not a distraction. It just helps to guide your feelings in the way that the storytellers want. By the way, you made me think of something that's even more meaningful, which I didn't put together before. They put Sim in a Starfleet uniform with
Yeah.
the pips and everything for his
Yeah.
funeral. Post-mortem honorific kind of thing. Like, you earned this, right? That's very meaningful.
The quote that always gets me though, it's where Sim's going, "I sorry I doubted you, Doc." Floxes goes, "No need to apologise." Sim, "Yes, there is. You see, I don't just remember Trip's childhood. I remember mine, and you were a damn good father." And Floxes goes, "And you were a damn good son." And that, I mean, even now, that really, really gets to me, and it hurts because I would have loved to have seen their bond on screen a lot more. And to have that as a two-parter it would have broke me even more. But the way that Billingsley plays that line, oh god, it would have been heartbreaking. And and this is the thing, it's the same actor. It's the same actor, but that's how good Trinia is in this episode, where your heart is breaking over this clone dying, volunteering to sacrifice itself. And right at the end, you see Trip right at the end. So you go, oh, well, Trip survived, ho-hum, off we go. But it's just so heartbreaking. And it is, and it's getting to me now just by saying that quote there between Phlox and Sim. And it's just, it's just such a wonderful and beautiful episode to watch and review. And this is why I put it in the Dabo Wheel of Honour, because we have a laugh. We don't take things seriously, but when we do take things seriously and we watch an episode like this is what makes Star Trek great. This is what makes Star Trek worth watching. Such powerful episodes like these that are just excellently written. And this is, I think it was Brandon Braga that said, like, Manny wrote this episode. This was the first episode that Manny had wrote, and he was like, I knew Enterprise would be in good hands with Manny Koto to have an episode like this straight out the gate from him, and it's just so
No
good.
doubt. Manny Koto, may he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. It was a damn shame. It was a damn shame we did not get a season 5, because and I know me and Synoiz disagree somewhat over season 4, but I highly regard season 4 for the risks that it took, for the mini arcs that it took, and to actually go, hey, we've not really delved into those questions in Star Trek lore. Let's answer them now. Let's solve the Klingon ridges. Let's solve the augments. Let's get into this.
I think my dislike of how Enterprise evolved was purely the whole thing where I just think it forgot about its characters. It had that cardinal sin of it forgets Merryweather and Hoshi and Reed to an extent, like exist, like past season 2. And then but then it brings in, like we're saying, the Marcos and stuff. And I'm like, we don't need them. We don't need new characters. We've got them. We just need to use them better, kind of thing. And because even Reed only has stuff to do because of the Marcos later. And it's, yeah, that's what annoys me. The fact that it's like you had this great cast. Like season 1, I absolutely adore. Season 2 is absolutely brilliant. Season 3, the Xindi arc, I'm not fussed by it, but then everything happening around it is wonderful. Like what it does and what it does for the crew. And episodes like this are amazing. But I think I'm obviously wrong about season 4, because every time we've had an episode appear on the Dabo Wheel from season 4, I've been like, oh, that's been really good. And I'm like, so season 4 is good then, when you enjoy the episodes in it, that means it's good,
It's good, but it makes you sad, because you saw the potential, you saw the direction it was heading, and to cancel it when it was just getting into that direction and we were going into the Romulan War, and they could have laid the foundation, they could have documented this missing era of Star Trek in its full glory, and we just don't get it, and it's sad. And hopefully, and I know we've said this previously when you were on, Duncan, hopefully if Star Trek United does get picked up and Bakula does come back, we get reprisals of roles, and everyone from Enterprise, and I mean everyone from Enterprise, gets to come back, and we get to see Chief Engineer Walsh on an NX or on a Deadless class.
Commander Walsh has a good ring to it.
Yes, Commander Walsh. Gentlemen, we must move on, because the time is nigh. Do we have any other notes or anything else that we want to discuss on this episode?
Well, okay, it says two things. One of them is a jokey thing, one is a serious thing that I want to talk about. The jokey thing is, hold on, I wrote some notes about this. That fucking theme tune, like I want to go into the room where they just went, so we're a bit not sold on the theme tunes, so maybe we should just speed it up and make it sound a bit more tribal, maybe, and you're sitting there, and all I can think of, and I don't know if you had this, Duncan, obviously in America, but it's the whole in the 90s where you just had panpipe people in like city centers, Goodwill.
Yes.
Where you literally just had like a gang of people
God,
dressed like Native Americans playing panpipes, and you're like, how did this start and why are they everywhere? Like, why does every city just seem to have people like busking with panpipes?
I remember that.
And that's what this theme reminds me of. It reminds me of that thing, and I'm like, what? Why did you think this was better? And it's blatantly because an executive's gone, it's a bit slow and it's a bit boring. Could you just speed it up a little bit? And you're like, oh.
It's like we're going,
I don't know.
We're going into a season-long arc. Everything's dark. Everything is more moody. There's a lot on the line. What are we going to do to make the theme tune reflect the tone of the season?
Yeah. Gosh.
And it's like, okay, why?
If they had just, like, you could have even taken the tune. Well, they kind of did it a little bit with something that I come across when I'm posting that's labeled as Archer's theme.
Yes.
Which is the guitar no vocals, right? That's at least
it's the ending theme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the ending
It
theme.
is,
Yeah.
like every time. If they had kind of taken that and made it like added in some orchestral to make it a little bit Mannheim Steamroller maybe, and just like went with that starting in season 3 for the opener, I feel like that could have been a really good direction. I don't know, man.
They could have,
because then it could have come from the sort of season 1, which is like the sort of, hey, we're just getting out into the stars, we're doing this, we haven't evolved into that kind of thing, and then having the theme tune evolve more into the graceful kind of what we end up with in like Star Trek normally, like that sort of wonderful orchestral thing, and it gradually becomes that to show, oh look, the Federation's growing, even if it doesn't realize. You know,
they could have even just did the original theme in a dropped D chord. They could have just dropped the chord a little bit to have it a little bit not just like a little bit darker, and they could have just taken out the lyrics. So it just could have been the orchestral Faith of the Heart, or they could have just done Archer's theme in a dropped chord, just to go, oh, there's a little bit of peril here. Like, we need to fight for what we hold dear. We need to save the planet. You know, we need to have faith of the heart.
Like that. And you know, it's funny to me that this is a problem, but meanwhile, Similitude wins an Emmy for the score.
For the score, yeah.
Like, they clearly had access to very skilled musicians.
And do you know the thing is, Duncan? Do you know what made it win that score? Flute. So Synoiz's slanderous take
fucking
on pan flutes
in the corner, being like.
Synoiz's slanderous take on pan flutes.
Stolen Picard's flute. So obviously Keiko, going back to start the Xindi War, well, Molly going back, has grabbed Picard's flute, okay, chucked it aside, Porthos has got it, playing a bit of a ditty, mixing it up a bit, you know, sorry you're going to get executed and, you know, your brain cells are being harvested or whatever shit we're doing. I'm a dog, don't fully understand it, but yeah. Listen to this banging beat.
Please get onto your serious note. Please get into your serious note.
Oh, that was the serious note. Sorry. No.
Yes.
No. I think the last thing I want to talk about is the implications of this episode, because obviously, like we talk about, like, hey, this never gets mentioned before, and the bow bun never comes up again, but it's the idea of like. T'Pol, like, this is the first episode because T'Pol and Trip have a very interesting relationship.
Very interesting.
The fact that, because obviously me jumping into this and not outside of a normal watching of the show and just jumping straight into this episode, I'm like, oh, they're just lying in T'Pol's quarters, like topless, massaging each other's feet. Well, this must be when they've got together, you know, like, oh, I didn't realize that happened this easy. And I was watching it, and then you're just like, nope, this is where they're just friends and they just hang out and romantically massage each other's feet. And I'm kind of sitting here being like, I don't think that happens that much. You know,
it's a long road getting from there to here, okay? It's a long time. But their time is finally here.
I like the idea, though, that Trip is literally that naive. And T'Pol's like, what the fuck do I have to do? I've literally got him round. I'm fucking massaging his feet. Like literally utter minx at the beginning. What's the line she says right at the beginning? Where, she basically says, lie on your back. And mentions more challenging postures. Even I felt a fucking tingle.
I mean, even leaning.
And proceeds to almost sit on his face.
Yeah. And he's literally looking up into her breasts. And he's sitting here being like, okay, so she's, you know.
Calculating.
I think if there was another Vulcan on the ship, they would have been like, she's fucking trying hard. You know, like it's. But like, and Trip's just like, we're just friends. This is great, you know.
Unless a man would have asked for a top 5, but we the in jokes are there, everybody. At least. Computer enhanced, but poor Duncan doesn't understand these references, and I
no
love
one can know.
No one can ever know. No one can ever. It's comfort. It's
No.
Top secret.
You're gonna tell him out in Vegas after we've had a few shots,
Oh,
right?
hell
this
yeah.
is Vegas
Oh,
confessions. All right, all right, all
hell.
right.
Yeah.
As long as that happens, we're
The
good.
juice will be loose. Anyway, go
wow.
on.
If you wear those braces, it will be. Anyway, no, but it's the wonderful relationship with like them, and this is the episode where T'Pol finally sort of goes, "Wow, I'm actually in love with Trip," and I can't remember
Yeah.
how it progresses from here, but I think it's got a kind of bit of an arc of her just of him being sort of ignorant to it, and her just being like, "So, how to bring this one up with
Yeah.
him
And what
now
was the
he's
next
got."
episode where they kissed? I was thinking about that because that was clearly a
Yeah.
significant act, and yeah, it was for like basically a dying man, right?
I'm sure it
But
doesn't
also
happen in the
it
next
showed the
one, but I
potential.
think it
I
happens in a
I
one.
really
I'm
don't
gonna have to
know
watch
when
more of it. I don't have the time. Like literally, I have to work on.
Oh,
we
he's
lost
gone.
your audio.
He's been
No.
censored.
Yes,
Have you-
yes, it's back.
Am I
Okay.
back? Okay, cool. I touched a wire. But
Stop touching things.
Not
so
while
I
we're
can see them.
broadcasting.
But but I love that that happens. That it's her realization of how she feels about Trip, and
Yeah.
them getting that first kiss. And it is a bit cheeky the fact that she kisses him, like because she knows that there's not really going to be consequences because he's going off to die. But at the same time, it's the fact of it means so much to him. Like it's he like the Trip genuinely is like, whoa, okay, that's made
But
dying
does
a
she
lot easier.
does she also do it to confirm her own feelings?
Yeah.
Possibly.
It's a bit cheeky
and
because
trying
it's
it on, right? Like
yeah.
just trying to see like, oh, well, how would this feel? And I can actually try that. And
Yeah.
no consequence.
Oh, everybody.
That's a bit of a moral quandary,
Oh!
but it's the idea of
Hang on.
It is.
Hang on. No, it's fine. The YouTubes were playing up, but never mind. I've
Oh.
rectified it. Go on.
yeah. It's a moral quandary of going, hey, cool. So if you could get off with someone who, to test something out and see how you felt about it without consequences, would you? It's a weird one. Like, but I like that it turns into this
Yeah.
lovely relationship because I'd
Yeah.
happily say like it, we get a lot of relationships throughout Trek, but the one that actually feels the most natural and wonderful is for me is T'Pol and Trip, because
Yeah.
he is just so perfectly human and she is so perfectly Vulcan, and we see how well that works together. And the whole message of Trek is working together as different races, as different species coming together for the benefit of everyone. And I
Yeah.
love that they find that way to do it as two different species.
I love
Sounded
I
more
love T'Pol
explicit
and
than I
Trip.
meant.
I do love T'Pol and Trip throughout Enterprise.
That would have
Duncan.
been another great thing to see over the subsequent seasons if they had
Yes.
happened. Yes. Goodwill.
Yes.
How may
Do
I help?
you have any notes or observations? Any more notes or observations of this episode?
Well, I actually was thinking about the relationship thing and the kiss in particular with T'Pol and Trip. So thanks for bringing that up. And I guess I want to say that I had a really funny exchange with my fellow shipmates, letter decks folks in our group chat about this because, as you know, I put forward to them, hey, did anyone else work on Similitude that has a memory of it? Because I don't think I was even on that. And most people were like, I kind of remember, sort of, maybe I stood in that time and like, all that stuff. Meanwhile, I pull up the very first scene and I can literally pick out like, there's Cricket, there's Jen, there's Evan, there's, and I go into the episode and there's Glenn right next to Trip on the, control panel, little mini catwalk. And
there you go.
John Jurgens running back and forth. And who else have I not? No, I think I mentioned everyone, but yeah,
there you go.
I must have been. So yeah, even backed out of that. So you can see Jen up there next to Scott, but on the wider shot, even Cricket's on the staircase. You can also, I think, see the back of Henry Farnham's head. I can't wait to get Henry into the mix because he's incredible. He's motivated. He did a lot. He worked on seasons 3 and 4, same as me, and just super super fun and creative guy. And the end shot of this, because this scene they must have shot all in one day. Probably only took like a few hours. So they called in everybody, shot this and the end like all as one scene, right? And you can see Glenn on the far left at the bottom corner, and in this, and I believe that's John Jurgens helping to like move the torpedo right there with his
Yeah.
back to the camera. So yeah, just like everyone that was on the panel but me worked, and I want to get in touch with like a bunch of these other people. So it was cool that there were a bunch just on like a little technical note. A lot of people got to work that day. Um, but we had this funny back and forth, and basically either no one was available or nobody like particularly remembered things, and so here I am. Lucky you get me
Well,
talking about
isn't that
episode I didn't work
wonderful
on.
though? Like, I always have it whenever I get to like interview people about sort of music or about like TV or film or whatever, and you kind of forget, like as a fan of something, you just go, you must remember everything. When you came up with that
Right,
riff,
huh?
when you were in that episode that's like the greatest episode of like this show or something like that, you must remember that like totally. And then they're like, no, no, I think it was a
Yeah,
Thursday and
yeah.
I picked something up, and it's so true. It's just the idea of people like, yeah, I don't
Totally.
really remember writing that
Yeah.
song
Well,
or
plus 20
anything.
years is a long time.
Yeah.
Like even if you had asked any number of us maybe like a month later, we wouldn't necessarily remember, but 20 years, that's a goodly long time. uh yeah, and I'll say I did make up a little in universe reason for Walsh not being around when I'd already been running. I'm like, he must have just been too weirded out by Sim, because like
Yeah.
most of the time Walsh is working with Trip. Like this episode happened, let's see, after Regine and a whole bunch of other stuff, but before Hatchery,
Yeah.
where I beamed down to the Xindi insectoid ship with
Mm.
them and stuff. But like you see Walsh a lot with Trip. So yeah, he must have just been too weirded out. Like see him
Well,
coming around the hallway and been like, I
I,
can't I
I
can't deal with this.
I was just assuming that you were the only one left, like in engineering, just fixing everything. So out of shot, you're literally got a fire extinguisher or like sort of or a welding thing. Just as a new panel explodes, you're just like shit, and everyone else
Yeah,
is like having this lovely funeral, and you're like, this is nice and all, but should we fix things? Like, should we
yeah,
sort of?
yeah. Oh, thank you. I will take that. And
I love.
another interesting note, this will be my last one, is about background actors. There's a name, Massaro, which was mentioned in my speaking role when Trip breaks up our fight. He says, "Go work with Massaro on the injectors," and I
Yeah.
never knew. Still don't. I got to look it up. I'm sure it's on Memory Alpha, but like I don't know who Massaro was, who the actor was that was supposed to be Massaro, or even if that was assigned to anyone. But they mentioned Massaro again in this one as a female, and I'm like, I didn't even know it was female, because like I think everyone that
Ah.
was where I walked back to the injectors. Cool prop, by the way. Freaking looks like a little rocket with a little switch on the back, so the lights
Yeah.
would like pulse, and you can put it into the wall. I don't remember there being any female actors back there in that mix, but that could be 20 years also
Well,
of
I like that Massaro exists in the lore and that the writers kind of went,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, there's an engineer called Massaro, but we haven't cast her. Like she hasn't appeared anywhere, kind of thing. But she's there.
Mhm.
She's one of the 80 plus members of the crew, you know?
Right,
Check
Um,
them in.
right. I do love that. I do, and when there's only 80 something, it's not like next gen where there's like many hundreds and you can just use a different name every time. Like you have to
Yeah.
remember reuse certain ones, or it seems weird, right?
One thing I wanted to ask you, Duncan, though, because obviously we talked
Mhm.
about like sets and stuff, because we talked the last time you were on about how fascinating the sets were, because we kind of just assume
Yeah.
like in next gen where the control panels are just like these static things where it's like, hey, cool, it's just a little plastic transfer on a screen kind of thing. But
Uh-huh.
then where you were saying that all of the animations and all of the screens and stuff are there doing their things while you're acting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and there's one that fascinates me. It's at the end of this episode when Sim is like attempting to escape, where he basically goes to engineering, says,
Mhm.
"Hey, I want to do something in engineering," and T'Pol goes, "Oh, go and fix this." And he goes and looks at the computer, and it's got this fascinating screen, and it's playing like it's like wireframes of
Of
locations
the mesh
around
of
the
the shuttle
ship.
bay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it flicks between several of them, and I adore it. I just absolutely adore this panel, and me going, oh, that's obviously post effects and stuff, and then just be
No.
like, well, you said Duncan of going, no, there was just loads of these little things around the place.
Yeah. Well, and my understanding about the infrastructure, and I might get it a little wrong, but I do know for a fact, Denise and Michael Okuda both had something to do with those. I think
Yeah.
Michael might have been more involved with that particular artistry, but they literally had a computer on set that was connected by wires because wireless wasn't that
Yeah.
common or reliable then, to all these monitors. So he was actually on a computer controlling, okay, this one goes here, this one goes here, and he could like probably change it on the fly and stuff. But he had constructed these animations. So when you see something like what you saw, that isn't an accident and it isn't random. It's purposeful and it was thought through by people who really know their stuff, right?
Yeah.
The Akudas are
So yeah, totally.
incredible.
And
Artwork.
I love that as it's
Incredible.
flicking through stuff, there's an Akuda or someone like Akuda.
Yep.
That's an Akuda just
Pushing the
there
button.
pressing a button, being like, "Oh,
Yeah.
click to the next graphic. Oh, he's pressed a button, change to that." Because obviously, yeah, probably before touchscreens. I keep the
Yep.
problem with Trek is it makes it look so real. Like it makes it
Yeah.
look like, oh yeah, it's a touchscreen. You're like, they didn't exist yet when this came
Yeah.
out. So
Right.
that's
Not even
someone
phones
in the
like
back
that, yeah.
coordinating a button press with a button press on the camera. Oh, that's
Mhm. I used to make a little like well, I used it to actually inform my performance because like I never took being background like casually. I always tried to think of, okay, what's my character, especially on this show because like I have basically recurring characters, like, okay, what would I be doing, for instance, in the back of the bridge? What would be on this display on the table, and what would be on the wall, and how would those things connect? And how would those connect to what's happening on the bridge? Because I assume the guys are in the back of the bridge because that's some kind of like support function or data that goes to the main consoles on the, for the command staff to use. So I would like, you'll see me like doing one thing on the panel down here and then like getting a pensive look and then going to the table to like I'm checking something. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like they're just playing, but it made it way easier for me to go, oh yeah, this must be happening here. And I was definitely not touching the screen. I was touching the buttons because they had
Yeah.
like
yeah.
it's like there's supposed to be buttons around the edge and everything. Because
It's
like you
the
said,
level
like
of detail that
touchscreen.
makes it more authentic. That's
Yeah,
what's beautiful about it.
absolutely. Even for little background actors, right? It was so great.
Well, it gives you something to
Recommendations.
work with, it informs your performance and it allows you to do a great job. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Recommendations came up with a question: did Duncan ever pitch the idea that Walsh would steal T'Pol from Trip?
I'm pretty sure I would not have been asked back the next day if I tried to pitch that idea.
What's that? It's a brave move, Cotton.
Let's see how it
would be
plays
great.
out.
I tell you what, though, I mean, like, this is classic, like, when you get older and you think about your life in the past and you have learned a lot more about how things work and how people work. I definitely have had ideas like, you know what, I should have pitched this thing. I should have casually mentioned, or even just like asked for like a 5-minute appointment with Brandon Braga and been like, hey, look, I've been doing all these things. Like, I just have some ideas I want to throw at you, blah, right? Like,
Yeah.
I could have approached it in so many ways that would not have jeopardized my security job or the background job, where at the time I felt like I had to watch out and
Yeah.
really be strategic about how I interacted with people, especially on set, because like I didn't chat up anybody, so I don't know what anyone's process is. And some
Yeah.
actors walk in like in the zone, and if you try to talk to them, you're going to mess up the zone, and I didn't want to be the cause of that, right? And so yeah, just kind of respecting everybody's thing. But man, I should have pitched more stuff. I should have been like, hey, I noticed that he beamed down with Trip, like, let's do some more action. I should have pulled Vince Dedrick Jr. aside and been like, listen, I had wardrobe add elastic into the crotch of my jumpsuit. Watch, now I can do a spinning hook kick, and that would look sick on camera, right?
But this is the thing. I think the lesson here, though, is the idea of, and this applies to all of us outside of Trek, is don't have regrets, like the
Yeah.
idea of going, why
Yeah.
not? Why not now?
Think of
Why not
ways
do
to-
that thing? Like
Yeah.
it's because I think there's so many people who just go, like, it doesn't really happen in our generation, I don't think, because obviously we've given up on retiring.
Everything.
We've given up on
Everything.
being able to be happy when we're old. But thanks, Tories. But it's the idea of you know, that idea of everyone kept going, oh, when I retire I'll go and do that, when I do this I'll go and do that. It's like, no, you were in this moment now, take that opportunity and be like, hey,
Totally.
cool, let's do that. Like, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained is
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
idiom.
Well, and anybody that well, most, I won't say anybody because there are exceptions, but most people you find working on a movie set, particularly acting, but like if you've made it to that place, you have that mindset of I have a goal, I want to do it, I want to take action on that goal, and I'm gonna like, take these steps to get there, right?
Yeah.
And take advantage of opportunities when they come. And because you don't get there usually unless that or you're related to someone who brings you along, right?
Yeah.
Basically. So for sure, and I think I would love to go back in time and have a chat with 25-year-old me and just be like, okay, listen, you don't have to be that scared. Like they
Do the
need you in
spin kick.
security. You have right. Do the spin kick, okay? Like talk to wardrobe. They love you. I back then too, I chatted up everybody. I was like, chummy with like the crew and
Yeah.
wardrobe hair people. Like I like to talk to people and bring people together always. And I could have done a lot. I could have done more things, but I still had like an amazing, amazing journey on that show. And I have a lot of amazing memories and experiences that now are recorded that like you can watch and I can show my daughter.
And all of that has still paid
no
off with Letter Decks.
Yeah.
You know, it's you know,
so many years later, but yes, finally.
Well, that's it. The fact of you guys getting together and whatnot and being able to do stuff. Because which one was it the other day? Was it Trek Long Island that you were just at, or was it?
Oh no, we went to the Washington State SummerCon. Glenn and I went.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I got confused because I was watching the Captain's Quadrant interview with Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs
today,
for sure.
And I was just like, oh yeah, there's all these different conventions.
And Glenn was one of his like main recurring Andorian henchmen. So yeah, I mean, it's right there. But we'll get to Trek Long Island though. It's on the short list of ones that we definitely want to go to.
It's definitely on our short list. We need the moolah to.
Why is this island so long? Was it a short island? At
because
some
of
point
cheese.
They stretched it out.
Yes, they did. They told it was pretty. Synoiz. That's what happened. Yes. But speaking of letter decks, there will be a clashing of worlds in exactly a month's time, just over a month's time, where we will be encountering Duncan face to face in STLV in Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas. I am so excited to finally meet you in person and meet the rest of the Letter Decks crew and get to discuss all the wonderful things that you did back in the days of Enterprise.
It'll be so fun. And we live for that, by the way. Like the whole like general thing, like a lot of people know about the panel, but what Glenn and I did at SummerCon is how he and I like initiated it, which is just talk to people, invite them to come to dinner or something, whatever. Like just say, hey, we're going to dinner at this place and hear stories, because we were like, vets sitting at the bar, like, let me tell you about the war, right? Like that's our shtick. When we get to do that in Vegas at, actual bars and hangouts and stuff, like that's our jam. We get to talk about our glory days, man.
And Duncan was the direct inspiration for this bit of delicious merchandise. Because he inspired me with the whole NX-01 veterans, and I thought I'm gonna steal that because I have no imagination. But it
looks lovely. I love that, and you've got it on the side. The Akira class looks sick on the side like that, man.
I would take the hat off, but it is fused to my skull with the heat. But it's just going to be so wonderful to finally meet everyone and just discuss all these wonderful stories and just shoot the breeze with our Trek family. Because, guys, if you don't know about Letter Decks, I have put a link in our description below for them, for their socials. It's just such a wonderful thing, and it quite literally to be these veterans of this old Starfleet vessel, to be these veterans of the NX-01 and share these stories of their time on the sets and share the stories of their characters. It's just wonderful because background actors don't really get a lot of recognition, and what I love to do on Trekkin Up North is give that recognition to Duncan, give that recognition to Dave, because these are the unsung heroes. These are the people that make the show believable. They make it authentic. And like Duncan has mentioned there, just being authentic with the sets, interacting with the sets as someone probably would do in that situation, it just makes it more believable. It just makes it more real. And you know, all my love goes out to you guys, goes out to Dave, goes out to all the background actors that have been in Star Trek throughout the years. And you know, huge shout out to Tracy. Do you know what I mean? Tracy was the background actor for The Next Generation that was in the movie.
Well,
yeah,
and that's a great segue because, well, first of all, probably the most fun thing that is available right now is if you go to our YouTube channel at @letter_decks, and I made a playlist of all the podcasts that were on. This one is already in there, so you know you can find it.
Oh my goodness!
Later. So head to that, and I also have there a recording of an intro I did for a panel for Phoenix Fan Fusion just a couple of weeks ago, and I feel really proud of it. I spread it. It's
really
around.
good. You sent me
Thank
it.
you.
It was really
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
I sent it around to some like Trek notables, and every single one of them was like, "That kicks ass." So I'm really proud of it. It's a performance, right? But I feel like I'm proud. So check that out. And I have I've been sprinkling this knowledge around, but it is now even closer, very close. In fact, a date has been set to launch my next group. And before I say that, I just want to mention Letter Decks. The reason for that name is we played basically the lower decks characters on Star Trek Enterprise. And our particular Enterprise across the entire franchise is the only one where the decks have letters instead of numbers, A through G. So we are Letter Decks. And after going to Vegas last year and meeting Tracy Coco, who's like, I want to be on your panel, I started thinking, how do I include more background actors from more shows? And so I came up with a new group. I have everything ready to launch, but I've been recruiting at least one person from each of original series, Next Generation, DS9, and Voyager, and we are going to launch with a panel interview on the transporter room. I know you guys love them, that's why I'm mentioning them. The recording is happening late next month. The name of the group is Legacy Decks.
Hey, that is a great name.
Thank you.
While you were talking there, I was like, what's it gonna be? What's this name? It better be a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. I like it.
Thank you. And you know, legacy, obviously, like a hot word in the fan zeitgeist right now, with, you know, hopefully Star Trek Legacy being a thing. I would love to see that show, but you know, and I included the rest of the Berman era shows plus original series, because what show has more legacy for Star Trek than the original series? So I have in fact recruited. Tracy is headlining for us because she's out there, she's known. Like it was easier to find DS9 and Voyager. I have JR Kionis, who worked on our show, and I know him from our show as a utility stand-in, but in fact, he was Bob Picardo's stand-in for all of the seasons of Voyager. And I also have Robin Morcelli, who did a lot of background stuff, but also notably was Nana Visitor's stand-in. And then the wonderful original series person that I went through more than one, but every single one was like, love that, schedule packed this year. And I finally got to the lovely Tanya Lamani George. She will be our original cast person. And so we're going to be recording. I'm not sure when it's going to be released, but going to be launching that later next month. So be on the lookout for that.
Exciting times. It's so good to see more wonderful developments in the Letter Decks, now Legacy Decks area.
It's
gonna be
very.
so good. I don't know how I'm gonna make time for it all, but you know what? It's happening. It's just
make the time. Make the time. Time is a human construct. You shall
I
make
need to
the plan.
monetize. Monetize is the next big thing. I gotta have my own merch. You're
What is
inspiring me
money?
with your
Yes.
merchandise to have my own.
Merch is a terrible idea. Never do merch.
We have been planning merch for 4 years.
I think that the big problem we've had, okay, and this is for viewers as well as you, Duncan, but it's the problem with the merch is me. Like all of the merch has had to be me doing stuff, and then me finding a big enough gap. You know what it's like where you kind of you can't get the project started because you're like going, I have to get the bloody table out and I have to set all the things out and I have to get all my pens, you know, and it's that kind of thing of it's like sort of,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have time to like get started and you're like, oh, I'll wait till I have time to actually properly get into it, and then that never happens. So I've been very lucky the last month to actually be able to sit down and go, right, okay, designs, do that. How does shipping work? How does this work? Who are we using for that and stuff? And coordinate all
Nice.
of that, even get the bloody logos and stuff done. So it's
It's
good getting it out
it's
of the way. But I've been getting stressed about going, oh, these designs aren't quite there, and I'm not quite sure about this one. And then Goodwill's like, we don't need to launch with everything. We can just put some stuff live and then add stuff later. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I just want a Trekking Up North bin, a Trekking Up North birth control, and Trekking
You
Up North
put
tongs.
socks
That's all.
in.
The
Socks in.
socks
Is that so
look
much to ask?
good. The
Is that
socks
so
look
much?
good.
Why are we doing socks? I'm so
The
confused.
socks look good. Guys, the socks look good. That's all
Hold
I'm
on,
going to
hold
say.
on. I know we're meant to be finishing the bloody episode. Get a poll up. Get a poll up.
Oh, for-
Who would like Trekking Up North?
I
socks?
will do a poll.
While we're here, because
I would
I
wear
will-
them.
Right, I'm going to do
Okay.
a poll, and then I've got a challenge question.
are we not getting Duncan to do challenge?
I,
Do you
I
have
did
a-
think of a challenge question. if you
Oh,
would
well
like
then,
one
by all,
from-
hang on, let me just learn to spell.
Okay.
Do people want ton socks?
Oh, it looks like there's some chatter in the chat here.
Charlotte's
of,
seen it.
possibly-
Charlotte has seen the socks.
I do like the socks. Of course you do. I designed them. You're contractually obligated to
yeah.
agree.
Okay. Do people want ton socks? Oh yeah, Trekking Up North.
Yeah, Trek It Up North. It's like none but better. So yes. Anyway, I do believe that Duncan has a challenge for us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I need to do this for Chris because I haven't been on Twitch this week because I'm goo. This is just for you. This is exclusively for you, Chris, because I know Chris loves this. Order! Order in the chat! Anyway, you were saying, Duncan.
That looked far worse than I think you meant it to.
No.
You really want those socks, don't you, Goodwill? Fucking hell.
You would
Well,
think
yes.
if you were goo, it'd be easier to milk, but that's okay. You know, whatever.
I'm
you-
called Goodwill.
however
I'm just going to take the D
Hashtag
out of my
less
sign.
milk
Oh,
goo.
there it is. There it is.
But,
Goo. All right. So, challenge question, and I feel like I might have brought this up somewhere else, so please forgive me. I my memory. If it's one you've already done, I apologize. Here's the question. Where in Star Trek was the name Walsh first used?
Star Trek Enterprise.
Final answer?
Oh, ooh.
And I mean production timeline, not canon timeline. Not like in universe.
Okay.
Production timeline.
Oh. Whoa.
And I'll give you a little hint. It was a name that Michael Sussman put in the script of Hatchery because he is a big fan of Star Trek.
Oh, was it the original series?
I think we might need to be
Yes,
more specific.
but I
than
need an
that.
episode.
Yeah.
Oh, you need
An
an episode.
episode.
Oh my god.
Or
Oh.
a scene or something to show me that you remember where the name was said.
Okay, I think what I'm going to do.
Hypothetically, Duncan, if I say, obviously hypothetically, say that I have no idea whatsoever, if I could come
Just
up with a really convincing lie, would that work?
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Okay,
but
cool.
I
Okay.
think Goodwill needs to chime in first.
So-
Okay, yeah, let's see
so-
if Goodwill can get it.
We've already established that the Dabo Wheel of Shame will be spun. But I'm going to say I'm going to say Star Trek, the original series, the episode The Balance of Terror.
What happened in that episode again? Was
The
that
Romulans.
It's
Oh, that one.
Romulans
Yes,
who
yes,
don't
yes. I
quite
just
know how
watched
to
that actually.
get
The
a faster.
Balance of Terror,
Balance of
where
Terror.
the helmsman has to check his bigotry in his quarters.
Ah, interesting. Okay, I'm going to go to Synoiz.
Okay.
What is your creative scenario?
My creative scenario is it's also original series, but it's basically one of the things where there's a whole episode and it's a lost episode. It's almost so lost that it didn't happen. But and obviously we see a lot
These
of
are the
scenes where
voyages.
Uhura's Uhura's playing a nice little song, they have it in the equivalent 10 forward and stuff. She's playing a little song. And then there's one where she's playing the song on like Space Lute, don't know what it is. And then she realizes that actually someone's scrawled the word Walsh in the lute, and it's basically her realizing like, where did this come from? Was it who gave me this thing? And then it turns out that actually it was just some crisps that she'd been eating that had kind of landed in a really sort of coincidental pattern on it, because she loves crisps. Because
Can I change
if you
my
notice,
answer?
Uhura's constantly eating Pringles in the original series. I think they digitally added that later.
She does love the sour cream and chive.
Well, once you
Pringles.
pop, you can't
You just
stop.
can't
Like,
stop.
That is a
you just
quote
can't. Yeah.
from Uhura.
Yes. Can I change my answer?
It's gonna be fucking better than mine.
Can I change? I feel
Okay,
I need.
okay.
I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
change my
I'll give
answer.
it
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the helmsman from the Balance of Terror. I think it is the.
Is that because we know it's wrong? Is that what
Shut up.
changed you on that?
Shut up.
I didn't say it was wrong.
I think it's not a Star Trek episode. I think it's the Futurama Star Trek episode where they couldn't get Scotty. They couldn't get Scotty, so they got Engineer Walsh as a replacement.
That's way cooler than
Oh, damn it.
I
Okay.
think. But no, sorry.
Oh.
Right, okay.
All of your answers, and you went a little far afield with the Pringles thing there. Synoiz are also.
Well, was that what made it seem wrong? Was that the thing that made it unbelievable? Was the Pringles?
You took me out. You took out my suspension of disbelief.
She's a
I love the
Doritos
preamble.
woman.
She's a Doritos woman. She's
a
a
cool
Walker's
ranch.
girl. She's a
Cool ranch.
Walker's girl.
She's a Lay's chick. That's what she is.
All right, here's where it actually happened first. Harry Mudd gave his name initially as Leo Walsh before they discovered his true identity.
Is that I
And
Mud?
In fact, I believe so, yes. And in fact, later we find out that the actual owner-operator of the ship that he was on was Leo Walsh, and he had taken that name. And something happened to Leo, and it's not really specified in the episode. Suspicions abound, and then the ship blew up. But in point of fact, that Walsh could have been a descendant in the range of grandson to great grandson of the Walsh that was on Enterprise.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
Right?
That's it.
I
That's,
love
right?
that.
oh, that's such a lore dump as well. You've made us feel both like idiots for our
For me, it's more of
answers.
a consistent.
It was
feeling.
pretty deep. It was deep. It was a deep lore question.
Well,
Also,
speaking of pretty
while
deep.
you bring up the Dabo Wheel of Shame that we have very much earned Goodwill. Here's the results of the poll of do people want Trekking Up North socks. 78% of you crazy bastards want like socks.
People
Like,
need socks.
I voted. There's 22% said no. Okay, and I was one of them. So it's kind of like, okay.
Why
well,
don't you want
I sit
socks? What's
corrected.
wrong with you? Why
I
do
want
you?
to. I want to live my Kai Wynn dream and just walk around barefoot. Because people, just
We have to
Therefore,
talk
calling
about why
everyone
you
my
dream
child.
about being Kai Wynn. I don't know about all that.
It's a sexy dream. It's a sexy dream.
Is
It's
it?
it's such a scathing insult, isn't it? Just to have her just look at you, just go, my child. Ooh,
Right.
ooh, it burns.
There's got to be a mega clip thing, like a mega cut on YouTube of all of Kai
Oh,
Wynn's
yeah,
like
gotta be.
cheeky little sassy sort of like going, well, bitch.
Yeah.
'Cause
Somebody,
she has a few.
somebody did that. It's got to be
Like
here.
between her and Kira, someone must have done it, Duncan.
Well,
It must have.
we failed as per usual, and that means everybody, welcome. Oh, I am so moist. Welcome to the Dabo Wheel of Shame. If this is the first time you are watching Trekkin Up North, welcome on in. Click that subscribe button and please, for the love of God, like this. Welcome to the Dabo Wheel of episodes. In this wheel, the delectable Geesian from the planet Honk, Science Officer Synoiz, has programmed every episode of Star Trek in existence. And then what we did, because we are both classy tarts, we distilled. We took it to the vineyards of Le Berre in France, and we distilled and we corked it and we crushed it with our
This
bare
Chateau
feet.
Picard tastes like
we,
shit.
we crushed it with our bare feet because we don't like socks, apparently. And we distilled it down into 12 good episodes and 12 shit episodes. And because we have failed this week's challenge, we have to spin the Dabo Wheel of Shame. And whatever it lands on, we must review in the next episode of Trekkin Up North. And when that wheel does land, everybody, you
What
must...
are we doing? Are we doing Dabo? Or are we
You
doing
know what
promenade?
we're going to...
Are we
you know
promenading?
We're going to promenade it. Everybody... When the wheel lands, you have to shout, you have to comment, you have to put it in the live chat, you have to send me a text message, you have to send Synoiz a WhatsApp, you have to throw a pigeon through Duncan's window attached with a note that either says, Dabo! Or, as we've recently added, promenade! In that vocal expression as well.
You probably missed all of this, the promenade thing, but
I missed the
I'm loving
promenade
it.
setup, but I love the meme that was made of you.
Oh, God.
I
It
love
took
the
about
meme.
5 minutes. I love our fans. 'Cause
It's
just this
amazing.
idea of going, how is this a meme already?
It's
Like,
amazing what I can do with 30 seconds.
Was it
and
you?
rest.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I was straight on my. We'd not even stopped recording. So. So you can either yell Dabo or promenade. So I'm gonna ask our wonderful guest Duncan first. Duncan, of all the worst episodes of Star Trek in existence, which one would you like to see us review? I've cancelled you out. You're on mute, Synoiz.
Oh my! This
Oh
means that I have
my.
to have cataloged all of the horrible episodes. In my
There's only
mind.
980.
Pick
It's,
one,
there's only 990. 92. It's fine.
Have you reviewed the singing episode of Strange New Worlds yet?
We
We
haven't,
did.
but it's actually in the Dabo. We have done it, but it's in the Dabo Wheel of Honor.
Subspace
see,
Rhapsody.
Now I really enjoyed that episode, but everyone
Yeah.
says it's bad. Here's me like conforming to the crowd.
Ah,
What's an episode
It
that's
is
bad?
in
I'm
the
so
Dabo Wheel,
forgiving,
but
like-
it hasn't come up for Honor yet. So yeah.
yeah.
Do you have? Give me 3 choices. I'll pick one.
Okay, Code of Honor is a pretty big one.
Okay.
Code of Honor's in there. What else is in there?
Move Along Home.
We have. Oh God, Move Along Home.
Move along home.
Oh
Have we got Delete the Wife?
yes, and yeah, that's one of the ones from Voyager. that's still
Fairhaven.
in there. Fairhaven.
There.
Yeah, those,
So we've got.
out of
so-
those 3 that are still in the Wheel of Shame,
So we've got
You can have
Irish
either-
stereotypes.
the Irish.
We've got
Going back to
Irish.
last-
We've got Irish. So we've got insulting my ancestors.
Goodwill. When I was putting the audio version of this podcast, because you can listen now on Spotify and Apple Music and all that. When I was putting it together, I basically skimmed through it to like check that it recorded correctly and the levels were all right. And
Yeah.
I literally clicked on a bit, and it was immediately my rant about the Irish, about the space Irish from last week. And I was like, I'm so proud of this. I'm so...
It's a work of art.
it's just,
Well, I
just
think
cargo
I
bays full of Irish people. Just...
I I am gonna have to say code of honor because you guys talk about
God.
it so damn much. You just need to do it and get it done.
Oh, we do. It'll be
If-
the end of an era
yeah.
once we've got that out the way. It'll be interesting.
If we do Code of Honor,
Pretty clear.
It's gonna have to be a party. It's gonna have to be what we did for Sub Rosa, where I have to drink to get through it.
Let's get cancelled ahead of STLV.
Well-
I think that's the best way to do things.
Isn't drinking traditionally an Irish pastime anyway? Like that's usually what they do at recess at school.
That
Right?
is.
So
So not only
I just suck it straight out the potato.
So not only is Star Trek insulting my heritage, Duncan is insulting my heritage now.
that's Scottish heritage.
Nothing wrong with a
whatever.
pylon, but
I'm
enough about
Scottish
Berlin.
Irish. I'm Scottish Irish.
Oh, I know. I love
you-
Irish people. Come on, they're just so easy to make fun of. It's just joshing.
Okay. So
Love it.
Synoiz, what do you want?
We've said what I want. I
For
think
God's
it's time
sakes.
to pull the band-aid off, get out the way.
Do it.
Right.
Although
Okay, everybody.
I'm hoping it's not Move Along Home though. I'm not ready for that.
Okay, we are running pretty low, so I think it's either going to be Move Along Home or Code of Honor. However, I'm going to spin it in 3, 2, 1. Oh,
Sukal still in there.
Prominence!
Yeah.
Shades of Grey. Well.
Did I? No, I don't think I put this one in.
Did you put? I think you did. You know. Let
I
me
can't
have a
remember
look.
which one it is.
Shades of
Ghost in the
Grey.
Machine put that one in. That's what happened.
Shades
Yeah.
of Shades of Grey with an A. Ooh,
Could it
this
be
is a
Shades of Gay?
Shades. 50 Shades.
50 Shades of Gay. That's my
Memory
autobiography.
Alpha has omitted this. There we go. No, that's why I put Shades
Dabo!
of. I put
I love
Shades
that we've
of.
got a mix in the chat of Dabos and promenades because we don't know what we're doing anymore.
I put Shades of Gary. I put
Shades
Shades
of
of
Gary.
Gary.
That's that other show.
That's a more interesting episode. Right. This is Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2, Episode 22, Shades of Gary. I mean Grey. Commander Riker fights for his life in sickbay after he is infected by an alien parasite while on an away mission. Dr. Pulaski soon discovers that the only way to save Riker's life is to force his mind to relive painful memories. It's a clip show, everybody. We're going to be watching the clip show episode of The Next Generation. That's right.
At least we get Pulaski. I'm pretty sure that Pulaski just did this for the lols. She didn't need to. She was like, oh yeah, I can just give him a sort of tablet and he'll be sorted. But let's make him relive painful memories.
We've run out of buns. We've run out of buns to clone a Riker.
Someone's been injecting these buns full of blood.
Why is me sausage bap a human? What's going on? So this is the this is the clip show episode of The Next Generation before season 3, the last episode of Dr. Pulaski, and Synoiz did put this episode in the Dabo Wheel.
I remember, now you've explained it. I put this in, okay, and here's a very good reason, because it's wank. But it's also the idea of like, it annoys me because I'm one of those people that really enjoyed Pulaski. I really liked Pulaski. I liked what she brought to the show and like how good she was as an actual doctor. And it just sucks that this is her last episode. You know, like she doesn't even get a send off. It's not even where we've got the wonderful episode with Kez and 7 of 9 where it's like a handover of, hey, one of you's leaving, one of you's coming in. We didn't even get that. We just go off screen. She's fucked off. You know, it's just like, it's annoying.
Chris has said, can we guess the IMDb rating? Shades
I can only count to 3,
of
and I think
Grey.
that's enough.
Shades of Grey TNG. Let's have a look at IMDb.
4.5.
Oh, 1.5 stars.
Oh,
Ooh.
Wow.
So that is it's actually it's 3.3 out of 10. That's
What have I got on next Saturday?
we can
I
rent
get
this-
absolutely mortal watching this episode?
we can rent this episode on Amazon Prime Video for $1.99. That's too much.
yeah.
Ooh, oh my.
Well, join us
well-
next week, everyone. It's going to be a clip show, apparently.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys
Should
and
we
girls.
review this episode using clips from previous Trekking Up North?
I think we should do a
episodes?
smash cut of just the amount of times you said it's wank, and then just put it out there, and then that's it.
It's wank, Jim, but not as we know it. It's a clip
It's just
show this
3
time.
hours, 3 hours of demonetization hell that we put out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Treks and Trekkers, I would like to thank my absolute wonderful friend, superb guest, and the leader of Legacy / Letterdecks, Duncan K Fraser, who we will be getting absolutely, as the British say, rat-arsed in Vegas with. It's going to be delicious, it's going to be hot, it's going to be sticky, and that's just us getting out of the car. It's wonderful to have you back on, Duncan. Thank you
Thanks for having me.
much. I do hope you
I'm
want to
glad
come
to
back.
be back. Love
I do.
to. Love to.
Oh,
Have me
that's
on
good.
anytime.
We've got it. It's a verbal contract that's binding in the state of New York.
It's a verbal contract.
It's a verbal contract. It's binding. He
But
didn't talk fees.
I do need to get more Letterdecks people on your
Yes.
show. We got to get Glenn on there. We got to, we got to
The-
have some
the-
fun.
the
And
problem- the
the
problem-
special guest that I delivered
Yes.
to you.
We
on a
will
platter.
get them
Oh,
on.
we are-
I'm
we are-
looking forward to it.
We
got
are
that
getting
one.
him on. Yes,
Right.
there's been
I just-
life complications, but we're gonna get him on.
I just feel sorry for the fact of like, how do we, when we get guests on, like everyone's like, oh, come on the show and it's great and we can talk Trek, and I just feel like we're the only podcast that probably needs a sort of, oh, however, before you start,
There's an asterisk on our
Yeah.
our name. Yeah. I very
Sparkly
much.
asterisk.
I always very much look forward to when Duncan comes on our podcast, and I would love to have him. I would love to have you back on again because it's always a laugh. It is such a laugh to have you on. And of
It's so
course, thank you to my delectable Giseon from the planet Honk. It is Science Officer Synoiz, who I will be seeing in person tomorrow for the nerdy quiz in Sunderland, United Kingdom.
Yes, well,
Do
it
you
is
wanna-
Sunderland Pride tomorrow. It is
It
Sunderland
is.
Pride. It is Pride in Sunderland tomorrow. So we have a big march. We have the big march through the city streets, which is going to be wonderful. Where we've had people doing banners and all that lark and stuff, and then we've got wonderful speeches and stuff that'll be happening. It'll be a day for protest, a day for pride, and then the nerdy quiz, which is happening later, where we're all going to get very drunk. I have. Yeah, me and Jess have really struggled putting this quiz together because it's been far too warm, because I'm just shit and warm, and Jess is heavily pregnant and incredibly warm. So we've both been like, what do we do? So it's going to be an experience doing this quiz. But if you're in the Newcastle, Sunderland area, please come along to D20 Bar in Sunderland at 3 p.m. and you can take part. You can win some prizes. And have some fun on Pride Day.
Maybe even win a teapot.
Yes, we have a tea. Oh, I still need to post about that. Yeah, we have a teapot auction tomorrow. I found some of the worst teapots ever that you will be able
goody.
to bid on.
Oh, goody.
And what is the charity that you support with those?
Well, what we do is every month we change charity. This month it is B Trans, which is a wonderful B Trans in Newcastle, where basically they help, because at the moment the trans situation in the UK is really difficult because we had the CAS report, and so the government are like they're changing how they do things. They're getting rid of puberty blockers, and they're saying that you have to jump through all of these hoops to do this and stuff. So right now there's a lot of vulnerable young people that need people to speak to. They need knowledge of resources, and they need access to the things that are actually going to give them a better life. So it's a charity that very much focuses on that, and it's an essential thing at the moment because God knows the NHS aren't doing what they should be doing, and it's almost like the Tories deliberately defunded them to cause that to happen. But anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Sorry, I'm getting it out my system, even though tomorrow is literally Pride, so it's a day of politics and a day of putting the world to rights, really, I think.
This has been our review of Similitude from Star Trek Enterprise. We have been Trekking Up North. If you have liked this episode and you have stayed with us for 2 hours and 29 minutes, please click that subscribe button and like button. Tickle the bell as well. Give the bell a good old tickle and comment on what you thought about this episode. Did you like this episode? Did you dislike this episode? Are there points that you disagreed with that we raised? Let us have a conversation with you. As always, follow our dear friends all in the description below. Letterdex is right on top of there. Follow all of our friends, the Transporter Room, Captain's Quadrant, Clone Star, Trek Culture, Trek Recommendations, Trek Trav, all the Treks with the T's and the R's and all the jazz and things. And you can follow us on our socials as well. My socials are there, Trekking socials are there, as well as Synoiz's and our Twitch channels, of course. Until next time, my delectable little people, I wish you good health. Please drink in this ungodly humid weather. I feel like I live in a swamp. I have been Captain Goodwill. He has been Science Officer Synoiz. He has been Duncan K Fraser from Letter/Legacy Decks. Live long and prosper. Take care of each other. And as ever, on Trekkin'
Bye, everyone
North.
in the chat. Have fun. Yeah.
Bye. Doodaloo. But
your sorbet sucks. Now get out.
Miles.
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 Promenade!